And we are live. What's going on, gentlemen? How are you guys doing? Hopefully all doing well. Hopefully you enjoyed the weekend's fights. All the big fight, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. I certainly did. It was a great night of boxing. It felt like we witnessed history, I'll be honest, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. What we'll do, we'll wait for a few people to get in, and we'll talk all things boxing, as we always do. Apologies by the way, I've got a bit of a cold. I'm really bunged up. This winter, man, I've been fucked with colds and whatnot. So bear with me. It is what it is. And yeah, we'll get a few people in here. We'll talk some boxing. Right, let me go on my channel thing. One second, lads. Okie dokie. Right. Adam Scott, big up to Adam Scott. First comment in the building. He says it just goes to show you can never predict boxing at that weight. I mean, he's fought punches before. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah, Don Hearn, mate. I've probably got the coronavirus. Knowing my luck. More than likely. Yeah, Adam Scott, that ear shot seemed to have ruined Deontay Wilder, man. That shot in the third round just really took it out of him, and that was really it. But I've got to say, even before that, he was looking ropey, to be honest with you. You know, he caught a jab in round one. Towards the end of the first round, Tyson Fury buzzed him with a real good jab. And I think then Deontay Wilder realised he was in for a fight. And to be honest, I don't think Deontay Wilder was ready for that, to be honest. I think Deontay Wilder felt that Tyson Fury was going to go in there and, you know, box and move, not really force the issue. And to me, it just looked like Deontay Wilder wasn't ready for a fight. That's how it seemed to me. And yeah, Tyson Fury completely caught him by surprise and beat him down. That's what happened, you know. Great performance from Tyson Fury, I've got to say. I was flabbergasted with that performance. We all knew that Tyson Fury could outbox Deontay Wilder. We knew that. But I never expected Tyson Fury to go in there and beat the brakes off Deontay Wilder. I never expected that at all. I really didn't. Hell of a performance from Tyson Fury. Because that's not easy to do when you're fighting a guy like Deontay Wilder, who's got the aura. He brings that fear factor. If you make one mistake, he can turn your lights out. To actually go in there with a plan to push him back, beat him down and stop him and carry it out, that is tremendous. That really is tremendous. And that goes to show how good of a fighter Tyson Fury is. And listen, I'm eating crow. I felt Tyson Fury would outbox Deontay Wilder and then get knocked out. That's not what happened. He beat the piss out of Deontay Wilder. So, hell of a performance from Tyson Fury. It really can't be understated what he did in that ring. Outstanding. Outstanding. Adam Ellis in the building. Big up Adam Ellis. You think Tyson will fight Whitedale? If so, the outcome? I would say a points win for Tyson Fury, Adam. I don't think Tyson Fury is going to apply the same technique he did against Deontay Wilder. I think he'll revert to type, make Dillian Whyte chase the fight, and basically just outbox him behind that jab. I don't think this is like a new Tyson Fury. I just think Tyson Fury is one of those guys who will adjust tactics to any given opponent. So against Deontay Wilder, he felt fit to push him back and really work on the inside and try and beat him down. Against Dillian Whyte, I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll actually take advantage of Dillian's slow feet. You know, he can't really cut off a ring. And yeah, Tyson Fury will keep him behind that jab and keep it at distance. I would say Tyson Fury by a lopsided points decision against Dillian. Stephen Lawler, he says, I've got to be honest, I'm a Fury fan now. That's a hell of it was a great performance. I'm not a fan of tip-tap boxing, you guys know that, but that's what I wanted, man. That's what I like to see. Somebody going in there and beating a man down. That's what I like. I've said on this channel numerous times, I like violence above anything else. And that's what Tyson Fury provided. That's what he provided. So fair play to Tyson Fury. Fair play to Tyson Fury. Adam Scott, good point. He says Freddie Roach said in the first fight he could stop him, but the young trainer kid was very safety first. Yeah, very good point. Freddie Roach, he got a lot of criticism for going against Ben Davison, but in hindsight, he was right. Big up Freddie Roach. Max Kuckerman, Wilder didn't show up post-fight conference and he hasn't spoken to the public since like a coward. Yeah, listen, I get that Deontay Wilder didn't go to the post-fight interview because, that guy was fucked up, let's be honest. Like, bleeding from the ears, no joke. So I can understand he needed to be, like, attended to. But you would have thought he could have come out and said something today about the loss, on Twitter, social media, whatever it may be. Yeah, I kind of agree on that. AKS99, one of the most satisfying beatdowns in recent years. Up there with Maidana Broner. Yeah, Broner Maidana can't be topped, by the way. That was brilliant. Timmy Nealon, big up to Timmy Nealon. Box in the building, big up Box. Yeah, Adam Ellis, yeah. JD's. Yeah, by the way, that guy's a piece of shit. First and foremost, JD's making excuses for that the ring walk. Basically, Deontay Wilder was wearing that fancy get-up, that mask, that suit. JD said that could have affected his performance, which was laughable. But the worst thing is, his fighter was bleeding from the ear. I know that was only a laceration in hindsight, but at the time, he didn't know that. If your man's bleeding from the ear, that could be fucking serious. And JD's had the audacity to say Mark Breland threw in the towel too early, and he didn't agree. Listen, man, Deontay Wilder got beat down. Mark Breland did the right thing. JD's is a piece of shit. I'm putting that out there now. That guy's a complete enough. He's a fucking clown. JD's complete clown. Mark Breland did the right thing. Because listen, man, Deontay Wilder was heading. He was going to get knocked spark out cold because he was gassing. He was getting beat up. Mark Breland definitely did the right thing. He saved this man. He saved this man from punishment because Deontay Wilder wasn't going to quit. Let's be honest. Whether you like Wilder or not, he would have. He would have gone out on his shield, and I will give him that credit on that performance. He wasn't looking for a way out. He took his beating, but JD's complete piece of shit, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, you're right, Adam Ellis. JD's, complete muppet. Yeah, Stephen Lawler, Tyson Fury, number one right now, without doubt, number one. Got a cup of tea here as well, lads. Big Ted, big up to Big Ted. Yeah, fuck JD's, 100%. Yeah, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Yeah, exactly, man. Echo falls in its own leg. Big up to you, sir. Stay safe. Man down. Man down. Now, Max, I'll be honest with you. I would have liked to have seen Deontay Wilder come out and address the public today, but I don't blame him from actually not going to like the post-fight press conference because he got fucked up and he had to go to hospital. Let's be honest about it. He had to be checked out. I don't really blame him for that. And he took his beating. I'll give Wilder that credit. He took his beating. A lot of dudes would have quit in that position, in my opinion. Yeah, simple train. Kenny Bayless was a fucking disgrace. The point deduction, in my opinion, was extremely harsh. But it wasn't really that really wound me up. What wound me up was Kenny Bayless, every time there was a clinch, first and foremost, he would break it up so Fury couldn't do any work. But also, he would give Deontay Wilder so much time to recover. So he would break both fighters and give it like 5 seconds before he said fight again. Complete embarrassment. Kenny Bayless, man, he should have been He should be fucking investigated after that performance. Absolutely embarrassing. Yes, Echo Falls, man down, no doubt about it. The Alabama Hammer. He forgot his fucking nails, Subhash. He forgot his nails, mate. He forgot his nails. Yeah, Max Kuckerman. Wilder was almost the body on his record he screams about. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if Mark Breland didn't throw in that towel, he could have got fucked up. Crazy D3 with the super chat. Thank you very much. He says, pillow fists believe the bully. 100%. 100%. Exactly, AKS 99. Kenny Bayless was... Hang on, I lost that comment. Kenny Bayless was pushing Fury back on the brakes, giving Wilder room to throw the right hand. Yeah, Kenny Bayless was a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Exactly, MS Star 011. Bayless tried to give Wilder every second for Wilder to recover. Yeah, that's what I was seeing as well. I was saying that at the time. Like, I was watching the fight and I was like, this guy is not impartial. This guy clearly has a horse in the race, Kenny Bayless. Absolute joke. Thank God it never affected the outcome. Yeah, B-Space, yeah, we could tell Kenny was protecting Wilder. Adam Scott, surely Fury has to ask for a rematch in the UK. If boxing was fair and just, that's what would happen, but we don't know what's in that contract. I would imagine that fight's going to be in America if it happens. That third fight, it did massive business in the US. That fight did really well, and I am pleased as well. I am pleased that fight did really well. And I'm not going to sit here and clown Deontay Wilder, by the way, because when you do that, I think that discredits from Tyson Fury's win. I think we all knew that Deontay Wilder wasn't a great technical boxer, but he was extremely dangerous. He's got good physical dimensions, and he's got retarded power. So I'm not going to sit here and clown Deontay Wilder, because for me, that just discredits Tyson Fury's win. I don't think you can really do that when you say a certain fight is trash and then turn around and say the guy who beat him put on a great performance. To me, it doesn't work like that. Tyson Fury dealt with a guy who was limited but extremely dangerous and awkward. Tyson Fury deserves all the credit in the world, and I think people should really keep that in mind, to be honest with you. I think he was excellent. I really do. I was flabbergasted. I had 2 hours sleep because the fight started in the UK about 5 a.m. I stayed up all of Saturday night to watch it. Watched the fight. Happened at like 5 a.m. Finished at about 6 after like the post-fight interviews. And I went to bed about 10 past 6 a.m. And I woke up at like 9 a.m. and I was still fucking buzzing. I was operating on like 3 hours sleep on Sunday, man. I was buzzing all Sunday as well. And even today, like, I'm still buzzing by that performance. It was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. And that's why we follow boxing. Nights like this, events like that, that's why we follow boxing. Absolutely outstanding. And I have got a video coming on Deontay Wilder. I want to make a video on Deontay Wilder, an in-depth video, because I've got more time for Deontay Wilder than most people do. Because I remember this guy on the come-up. I actually met the dude in Sheffield when he fought Audley Harrison. And back then, that dude, I kid you not, was like, he was a completely different dude. Like, he had so much time for fans after that fight. I'll never forget it. And that guy got poisoned by certain people. We won't mention them. But that guy got poisoned. These people don't have his best interests at heart. And yeah, how Deontay Wilder has been misled by the people who apparently care for him is an absolute disgrace. I want to put it out there now. His little fanboys at the LDBC, they're an absolute disgrace as far as I'm concerned. An absolute disgrace. They would rather that dude, they would rather that dude die than lose to Tyson Fury, just to make a fucking point. Absolutely disgraceful as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely disgraceful. But there we go. It is what it is. It is what it is. 100% BG London, 100%. There's no shame in losing to Tyson Fury. No shame at all. I didn't think Tyson Fury had that performance in him. I can't lie. I was extremely impressed. extremely impressed. But yeah, Tyson Fury, man. Listen, we know he's a great boxer, but to do what he did, man, and walking down the bully of the heavyweight division, the guy who hit so hard, knocking people to spark out, that was impressive. Hell of a great performance, man. Excellent. Excellent, man. Honestly, such a great performance. Yes, Stephen Lawler, I would agree. The one thing that Wilder has always had his heart, in my opinion. He will always try and fight on, even when he was getting beat down. Yeah, because when he was complaining to his corner, that looked genuine to me. You know, sometimes when a fighter gets pulled out and he argues with his corner, sometimes you can tell it's not genuine. Sometimes you can tell he was actually grateful for being pulled out. But for me, Deontay Wilder, it genuinely looked like he was pissed. And I like that from a fighter. I've got to say, I do like that. You know, Deontay Wilder is one of those guys who I've got mixed feelings about. On one hand, I think that guy's been truly misled. I really do. I believe that to the bottom of my heart. But at the same time, he's responsible for his own actions. And he took that path, so he's got to suffer the consequences. So it's one of those things. It's one of those things. I've got a video on Deontay Wilder. I'm going to make a couple. First one about his route back, and the second on that topic about him being misled and whatnot. Exactly, AKS 99. The LDBC wouldn't care if Wilder died in the ring. Yeah, exactly, man. They'd say it's a premature stoppage. 100%. MS Star, this is interesting. MS Star, let's highlight that comment. Al Heyman / PBC will never make Spence versus Crawford this year or next. If Spence loses, they've really lost two of their biggest stars in the most lucrative weight divisions. Very good point. Do you think this fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder has affected the chances of Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence? Because for PBC right now, a few months ago, don't forget, they had all of the heavyweight belts. Andy Ruiz was a unified champion and Wilder was WBC. Now they have nothing. If Crawford beats Spence, you know, that's another big blow. Has this fight actually hampered the chances of that fight happening? Who knows, man? Hopefully not. We want to see these fights. Hopefully the PBC see what the fight generated. You know, they see the money signs and they say, do you know what? Let's make Spence Crawford. Let's make it happen. Hopefully that's their attitude. But can they afford to lose Errol Spence right now? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, JD's is a fucking bum, Big Ted, 100%. L Dog, big up to L Dog. Big up L Dog. DB in the chat. Look at this guy, man. He's pissed. He's fuming. Smash the like, lads. Smash the like. Oh, he's pissed. I think he's pissed his boy lost. Bless him. The PBC still have the Charlos and Joey Spencer plus Tank. Yeah, man, exactly. Exactly. It's hardly an illustrious bunch, is it? Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. Christ. Joey, exactly, Max. Joey Spencer, lol. Lol. Wakanda got invaded by Fury. Fucking hell. Wilder's easiest route back to the WBC at the minute is to take a third fight, but it's very unlikely he'll win. And if he loses, he'll be in a very bad position. I totally agree. If I was managing Deontay Wilder, I wouldn't rematch Fury. I would have that guy take a long time out, a few months out, and towards the end of the year, come back with come back against somebody like Kalnatsky, for example. Kalnatsky, highly rated in the IBF. I think that'd be a good fight for Deontay Wilder. Bro, this dude, man, honestly, DB, I mean, bro, honestly, fucking Muppet, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, exactly. AKS 99. Wilder should go elsewhere and hope AJ beats Fury. 1000% agree. 1000% agree. Because I think Wilder against Joshua, I still think that's a shootout. I think that's a pick 'em. But Fury, like, just stylistically, man, it looks like that's all wrong for Wilder. So, yeah, I think Wilder needs to take some time out. I really do. Take some time out and then, like I say, fight someone like Kaunatsky. Box. Fury should fight AJ, Brock Lesnar, then retire. You're probably right, Box. You're probably right. Yeah, Max Kuckerman, I saw that. Shelley Finkel said they want the rematch. Yeah, that alien-looking motherfucker. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that guy, man. If I was Deontay Wilder's manager, I would not put that dude in there with Tyson Fury again. Not right now, anyway. I would have that guy have a long time out, let him come back towards the end of the year against someone like Kaunatsky, who he can beat. He can beat Kaunatsky, let's be honest. Kaunatsky was getting buzzed by Charles Martin. Deontay Wilder should beat Kaunatsky. That's a good comeback fight, a credible name, a top 10 contender, and after that, go from there, you know? Yeah, Max, you could be right. Yeah, exactly. You're 1000% right. Chances are they're going to cash Wilder out at the expense of his health, yeah. And remember, these same people who support Wilder were the guys who, they point fingers at other promoters for being slave masters and things like that. Look at how these guys are treating Deontay Wilder. I don't think it's fucking funny. I think it's a disgrace, to be honest. I honestly think it's a disgrace. Yeah, Box, you can see Finkel chatting shit to Breland after the fight. Yeah, imagine having the audacity. By the way, Shelley Finkel, JD's, again, they are complete pieces of shit. Imagine having the audacity to go to Mark Breland, a former Olympian, a former pro fighter who's been knocked out. Imagine having the audacity of never having fought before, telling that guy he stopped the fight too early. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, man. Absolutely disgraceful. Shelley Finkel. Complete fucking muppet. Ask Shannon Briggs what he thinks of Shelley Finkel, by the way. That guy's a fucking prick. Straight up. The guy's a complete prick. Yeah, Wilder should come back. Yeah, exactly. Crazy D3. Wilder should come back against someone like Charles Martin, Adam Kaunatsky, 1000%. Yeah, Stealth Sniper. That's another thing I want to address. The whole race angle to this fight, again, that was a complete disgrace by Deontay Wilder's team. Didn't need to happen. Didn't need to happen at all. What was all that about? These two guys have great chemistry between each other, great trash talk. They clearly respect each other. I mean, this rivalry's gone back to 2013. I remember when these two were going at it after David Haye pulled out. Like, they was trying to get Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury made then, but Sky Sports box office didn't want it to happen because they didn't think it was a pay-per-view fight at the time. These guys have been scheduled to fight for a long time. They've gone back and forth for a long time. These guys have natural chemistry. It's a built-in rivalry. Deontay Wilder and his team never needed to bring that up. The whole black versus white shit. And idiots fucking feed into it, man. Fucking nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Stack those bananas. Who knows? Finkel might throw Marcellus Wilder in there to avenge his brother's loss. Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't put it past him, would you? You wouldn't put it past him. Winner gets Otto Wallin. I'll tell you what. Deontay Wilder versus Otto Wallin. Not a terrible fight for a comeback fight for Deontay Wilder end of the year. Not terrible. Not terrible. Yeah, George Michael, I agree. No, I disagree as well. Like, the media was race baiting when they asked Tyson Fury that question, but Deontay Wilder put that seed in the public's consciousness, in my opinion. The whole Black History Month thing. making Tyson Fury a trivia question. That was uncalled for. That was uncalled for, as far as I'm concerned. Totally uncalled for. Didn't need to happen. It was a great fight to begin with. Didn't need that sort of shit. I get that. Listen, I ain't fucking naive. I get that is like part of boxing history, but listen, man, that fight didn't need it at all. L Dog, even 78 Sports is telling his deluded cult following that Mark Breland made the right decision. Yeah, he did. 1,000%. Fuck me, I agree with 78 Sports on something. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, exactly. Deontay Wilder made a clown out of himself, let's be honest. Chris Hayes, big up to Chris Hayes, by the way. Crazy D3, yeah, thank you for the super chat, man. Yeah, you're right, like I say. Exactly. He didn't make a statement at all. Made a clown of himself, like I say. Yeah, Chris Hayes, he says Daniel Dubois versus Dillian White. That's a great fight, but Daniel's got to get past Joe Joyce, man. Joe Joyce is no slouch. That's going to be a hell of a fight. That's going to be a great fight. Can't wait for that one, man. Really can't wait. I think DDD early is going to be very dangerous against Joe Joyce, a guy who is kind of cumbersome, straightforward, doesn't have much defense. Joyce could be in trouble early on, but if Joyce can actually, summon weather the storm and actually get that fight late on, then Daniel Dubois could be in a lot of trouble if that fight goes late. I think that fight is going to go one of two ways: either Dubois by early knockout or Joyce late on. I can't see that fight going to points. I really can't see it. Yeah, we've got Revolution in the building. Big up to you, sir. How you doing, man? How you doing? Yeah, Adam Scott. Some idiots have kept fighters in too long, like Briggs, Klitschko, and Edward Goodnecht. Yeah, exactly. When Edward Goodnecht fought George Groves, he was taking a beating, and look what happened there. His career got ruined, and his health got ruined. Yeah, we are going really. Yeah, that's a good corruption in boxing. That's a very good point. Deontay Wilder's rapid increase in his market value and purses will be a massive stumbling block for a return against mediocre opposition and accepting. Yeah, exactly. Very good point. These guys are going to want to get paid. They really are. And in all honesty, I don't think Deontay Wilder can return against mediocre opposition, to be honest. I really don't. I think he's got to fight somebody top 10, top 12 at least in his comeback, somebody credible. And these guys are going to want to get paid. Joshua Mundo TV, do you expect a trilogy? I'm not sure yet, to be honest. I think Deontay Wilder, his pride will tell him to take that third fight. But again, I would hope the people around him actually persuade him not to be honest. I would hope his team sit him down and come up with an alternative route to get him back to the top. That's just my opinion. Maybe he should take it. I don't know. Maybe he should. Yeah, exactly, L-Dog. Deontay Wilder is in a very difficult situation right now. Take the third fight or retire are his only viable options. I wouldn't say that. I think Deontay Wilder can fight without fighting Tyson Fury next. I really do. PBC have a couple of good heavyweights for him. Andy Ruiz is knocking about. And obviously Adam Kaunatsky. Adam Kaunatsky is extremely highly rated with the IBF. That'd be a solid comeback win, in my opinion. Adam Kaunatsky, I think that'd be okay. Let's be honest, even Manuel Charr, that dude has the WBA regular. Let's say Deontay Wilder snagged a fight with Manuel Charr and won, and he becomes a regular champion. he's then in line to fight the Joshua Fury winner if that happens. So Deontay Wilder's got a route back. There's multiple routes back, but it's how he goes about it. It's how his team goes about it. I don't think Fury right away is the best option, to be honest with you. I really don't. And yeah, big up to corruption in boxing. Yeah, Mr. Doc, that's how I see it. That's how I see it. Fury's all wrong for Wilder, but it wouldn't shock me if Wilder's able to beat some of the other top heavyweights. Often boxing is a bit like rock, paper, scissors. 100%, totally agree. The only thing with Wilder, the only thing I will say is this defeat wasn't just a defeat. It wasn't a regular loss. It was a beatdown. And given the type of fighter Deontay Wilder is, that could really damage the aura, could really damage the confidence. Maybe he's not the same fighter, but if he is the same fighter, I still fully expect this guy to beat top 10 heavyweights, to be honest with you. I really do. Chris Hayes, Del, can you do a video about this legendary boxer, Dmitry Pirog? That's a good shout. I did a video the other day about Ike Iwabuchi, who was like his career ended due to health issues, let's say that. And we never got to see how good he was. Dmitry Pirog, another one of those guys. That's a good shout. That's a good shout, man. Yeah, this chat is going very quick, lads. So if I don't read your comment, I'm not like, airing you and fucking ignoring you. You know what I mean? Yeah, George Michael, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, Joshua Mundo TV. I felt Kenny Bayless was... I felt he was terrible, to be honest. Like I said, it wasn't necessarily the point deduction that I was really annoyed with. It was more so the fact that he was clearly giving Deontay Wilder time to recover, separating both fighters when they was in the clinch. He was separating the fighters when Fury had a hand free and was working, and Wilder was kind of just holding on. Yeah, man, I felt he did a bad job. Yeah, AKS 99. We don't know whether Wilder's going to be the same fighter after a loss like that. He's 34 years old, exactly. He's 34 years old. AA Boxing and Blunts, big up to AA. He says Wilder knows that third fight could do 20 million at the gate plus pay-per-view. He's going to take that fight for sure. Yeah, you're probably right, mate. You're probably right. Yeah, exactly, Max. Yeah, Tyson Fury is that type of dude. He's probably called Deontay Wilder or checked on him. Yeah, he's a cool dude, man. Like, the first thing he said in that post-fight interview was actually saying that Wilder's a warrior. Like, he didn't have to do that. I respect that a lot. I respect that a lot. Big Ted, he says Dmitry Pirog's overrated. I really liked Dmitry Pirog back in the day. I wish we got him versus Sergio Martinez. That would have been a hell of a fight. We would have got Pirog versus Golovkin, but that fight was scheduled in 2012. But Pirog, basically, he got injured, and that was it. He never returned. He fucked his back up. I wish we got Pirog versus Golovkin back then in 2012. That would have been a hell of a fight. People forget about Pirog, man. Yeah, Crazy D3, off to watch the fight again. Peace, Del. No worries, man. I've seen that fight, 3 times now? I've seen it a few times. Yeah, L Dog, man. Pirog GGG. Excellent fight. Bruv, I totally agree. A third fight would be bad for Deontay Wilder's health. I agree. Listen, he should take it again, but not right now, in my opinion. Not right now. By the way, what I'll do is I'll put a link in the chat. If anybody wants to join, you're more than welcome. Probably a terrible thing to do, but... Damn, Big Ted. GGG versus Pirog. He's got a Pirog by 11th round knockout / TKO. Damn. I would have said Golovkin would have worn him down, but Pirog was very elusive, great upper body movement, sharp puncher, athletically gifted as anybody. Would have been a hell of a fight. I think Golovkin's constant pressure would have been a bit too much, but would have been a hell of a fight. Hell of a fight. Corruption in boxing, 100%. Wilder dictates and decides on his corner/trainer structure. JD is in no position to attach blame to Mark Breland. The damage limitation exercises in full motion, and poor Mark is the scapegoat. That's what it seems like. JD seems like he seems like a guy who is just wanting to keep his job. That's what it seems like to me. He wants to save his job. Whereas Mark Breland had his man's best interest at heart. That's how I see it. Box, yeah, Golovkin was robbed of good fights in his career. Like Golovkin should have fought Felix Sturm way back when Felix Sturm and Golovkin were with Universum. He should have fought Pirog, but Pirog got injured. Sergio Martinez, these guys, man, were around when Golovkin was smashing people up. But yeah, we never got to see them, unfortunately. Yo, the Quags in the building. Big up for Quags. Big up the Quags. Max Kuckerman. BFTB is too short to get his face in front of a camera and show it. Fucking hell. Yo, Jim McDonald, man. Big up to Jim McDonald. Hopefully you're doing well. Man, just don't spend too much time in the Rovers, mate. You know what I mean? Deontay Wilder popped in earlier for an hour special message with the fucking hell. Fucking hell. Jim McDonald, man. Fucking hell. Yeah. It is kind of funny though, the reaction from this fight. Wilder's fanboys. It is funny, I can't lie. But yeah, I ain't going to get too drawn into that. I had my laugh on Sunday, but yeah, I ain't going to get too drawn into that. I've had my fix, that's it. I move on. Do you know what I mean? I ain't going to be like them. I ain't going to be so fucking negative. Yo, Revolution, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on, Del? How are we doing?
I'm not too bad. A little bit under the weather, but yeah, I'm good. I'm buzzing.
Cool.
I'm buzzing.
Yeah, man, I'm under the weather because my ass. I gotta find a new job, and all the good jobs they drug test you. So today's day one. I ain't smoking weed for the next 2 weeks or so. So it's gonna suck, but we got to get that paper, man. So
100%, man.
I got a couple methods. I got a friend who got a baby, and they've passed a couple drug tests. Taking the piss from the baby. They just kind of follow him around, and they wait till he's gonna go get the cup, and they passed a few. But I'm just gonna do it legit. I'm not gonna try to cheat it.
Yeah, my job. Well, apparently it's got drug tests, but I've been there now 4-5 months. I've still not had one. I've been smoking like a trooper, mate. So hopefully they don't fucking turn up unannounced and fucking test me. But yeah,
man, it's like Vada, baby. They just pop right up.
Exactly. Fucking, it's crazy. That is wrong, by the way. I want to say that. Like, what I do in my personal time is not their business. As long as I turn up, I'm professional. Yeah. That should be what matters.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking about going into some fucking test and just not even trying to pass it. Just piss in a cup and have a Post-it note in my pocket and be like, "Hey, yo, I smoke weed. That's it. You're not gonna hire me over that. That's your deal. But I'm good." So I don't know, man. I'm at the end of my rope with this shit.
Wow.
Here in the States, one more thing. Over here in the States, actually, Nevada was the first state just recently. They banned that you can no longer drug test people for marijuana. Everything else on the table, but weed is off the table for drug tests in the state of Nevada for employment.
Well, out here, I'm in Washington, and I've lived in Nevada too, so I can speak to what you're saying there about about the way about just the mentality there, even before they changed the laws. But without getting too much into it, well, if you know anything about Washington, they don't even bother.
No. They don't give two shits, man.
It's just been a staple of like normal culture out here in general since I was a little kid, going back to the 70s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, you know what I mean? Like if you got in trouble out here anyways, it's like they call it an IQ test, man. 99.9% of the time. I'm saying all this to kind of demonstrate just how wildly shit can vary in this country from state to state. You know what I mean? Like it's not just the laws. It's that's also a reflection of the mentality of the people, right?
Yeah.
Out here, it's like, you if you grow up here and you go some other places, it's shocking. Like, oh wait, you guys take that seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Exactly. It's confusing. So, but yeah, I mean, it's been a staple of just. It's just Washington culture. You know what I mean? Most people out here just smoke or know someone that smokes or grows or whatever, and it's been that way since the 70s. So it's like they don't even bother with tests. I mean, it's what I was gonna say is we call it an IQ test. 99.9% of the time, what I mean by that is 99% of the time, if you got in trouble with the law, right, in any way or shape, fashion, or form for that, it was because you did something else really stupid.
Yeah,
and the cops decide, and the cops see now it's all legalized out here. But in the past, what would happen is if you did something stupid like drive drunk and get into an accident and they found that on you, yeah, they were going to rub that in. You know what I mean? They were going to hammer you. They would hammer you on it in terms of like, sentencing and that kind of thing. But that was because it wasn't because of that really. It was because you did this other shit. You know what I mean?
You got to add it on.
Yeah, by the way, Phil Schofield, reveal yourself.
I just cheated on my missus, But it's okay to cheat on your missus as long as you say you're gay.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wait. That makes it okay?
Hold on. Will I explain? Will I explain the joke? Will I explain the joke? Or, I mean, you're talking about weed. You've already been demonetized.
We've already got algorithm. We already got the algorithm all over him.
Yes, now, Del, will I explain the joke?
I think we lost Del's audio because it sounds like dead. Del, you there?
Oh, he's probably gone AFK. He's probably doing something to his poor cat again. Anyway,
or we got him laughing.
What's up, Revolution, Mr. Duck?
What up?
What's up, Unrivaled?
I'm doing well.
Wait a minute, that's Duck. Hold on, I'm talking to Duck. No, who's this?
Yeah, who do you think it was?
DUCKK Duck?
No.
Okay,
somebody. What the hell do you think it is, mate?
I thought Duck was from the Netherlands.
I'm not.
No, Doc. D-O-C.
Doc. Okay, I thought you meant Duck, like quack quack duck. Okay.
No, as in Mr. Duck.
Yeah.
Mr. Duck, I got you. Okay, we're good.
It's the accent barrier. That's all that was.
Accent barrier, my ass. This dude's heard me 1,000,001 times. It's because he's from Connecticut and they tend to say things arse about ways. They're like, "Duh."
Oh, yeah, it's not an accent barrier. It's an accent bias.
No, it's a Connecticut thing. It's a Connecticut thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm at right now, man.
It fucks me up. Like sometimes I hear Stu talking about something, and he'll talk about how much something cost, and I think it's how much something weighed. And he's like, "Oh, I got my cell phone. Here's 200 pounds." It's like 200 pound cell phone. What are you in the? Oh, it's still fucking me up.
I get you.
Someone in the chat here. Listen, someone in the chat is asking George Michael. Now that Philip Schofield is out, does he catch a right? Listen, mate. Philip Schofield only cheats on his wife with alive gay guys, okay? Not the dead kind. Back off.
What? Ah, my brain.
Ghost.
What does that even? What do you mean, dead gay guy? What's going on here?
Well, George Michael's dead.
Oh, okay. I guess I get that.
Is he not? Is Careless Whisper still rocking?
I don't know now that you mention it. Can't say I follow the career closely.
Big Ted in the chat says, Phil, be safe. Yeah,
Be safe.
thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for that. Del, but I told them the joke about Phil Schofield because they don't get why I said it's okay to cheat on your wife as long as you're gay. Can I explain that? So I'll put it as politically correct as possible. But I pretty much let that ship sail when I talked about necrophilia and gays a minute ago. But,
yeah, we got you demonetized while you're away there.
Yeah.
It wasn't even me. You were demonetized when they were talking about growing weed, right?
Oh yeah, that probably did.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway. So Phil Schofield got married 30 years ago. Allegedly, he was happy and all this stuff to her, but it turns out that he was actually gay. So for the last 10 years, he's been cheating on his missus, but that's been completely swept under the carpet because he came out as being gay. He was cheating on her with a guy, and everybody's like, "You're so brave, Phil. Oh, Phil's a hero." Blah. Coming out as gay, that's not the like. Yeah, it's okay to it's okay to cheat on your wife so long as you're gay. So lads, anytime your wife ever catches you cheating, if she finds out that you've been cheating, just say, "Babe, I'm gay."
Yeah, that is disgraceful.
All's forgiven. Yeah, don't worry about it. You can cancel the divorce.
Because at the end of the day,
is that what you're telling me?
Pretty much at the end of the day, you're going to get 17 million retweets saying, "Go on, Phil."
Hang on, semi-seriously though, because he said it sounds like from the way you describe it. Okay, the public's swept it under the rug. That don't mean he didn't go to divorce court.
Hey.
I don't know what's going on there, to be perfectly honest with you, but from the way it seems in the public eye, even with the family, they're trying to support him even though they're shattered. It's quite sad. They've had 3 kids together.
Hang on, Beasley London. All these years, I didn't know Phil Schofield was gay. I always knew there's something off about that dude. Straight up.
Bro, listen. He's got a bright white quiff. And he was the host of Dancing on Ice, and you didn't know he was gay.
Well, okay, see, I don't even know who the guy is. I was just about to say, but you see, when you just said the words dancing, when you said dancing on ice, case closed.
Do you guys know what that show is, Dancing on Ice?
No, I don't need to know what it is. The
figure skating.
Man dancing on ice, gay.
Yeah, he said dancing
it's literally where they get a load of C and D list celebrities. A lot of fat fucks, most of them.
Everything else up to that point, it was like, okay, I'll take your word for it, but man's dancing on ice, okay.
Man, imagine you're his wife, and you realize you've been a fag hag for 27 years.
I love my
hold on, Del. Listen to me. Listen to me. Any man who's worked with Holly Willoughby for 12 years and never cheated on his wife with whore is gay.
100%.
Well, here's the truth. Not that this is, not that it's the kind of subject that's come up a lot in conversation, but most of the women I know and or have known would take that worse than if you just were, cheating on them with the waitress down the corner or whatever.
They would take it as, oh wow. I would. Well, I mean, I don't.
What I mean by let me clarify. Let me clarify. What I mean by that is it's you're going to divorce court. In other words, it's a wrap. There's no getting forgiven or second chances.
Yeah, but Doc, the women you hang around with are 1970s metal Latina chicks and shit.
True.
They ain't going to divorce court.
You got me there. Okay.
They're not going to court, bro. That dude's getting fucking circumcised and castrated.
I'm not in denial about my taste. What does that got to do with
it? You hang around the crazies.
Yeah, by the way,
Revolution can't hang with the crazies. He is the crazy.
Good. Of course, I mean, we all know that, don't we?
Big up to corruption in boxing, by the way.
Doughboy's like, yeah, let's move on from that.
No.
Corruption in boxing with quote of the year. Look at this. Damn.
I wish I had come up with that excuse to save my marriage 10 years ago due to extreme infidelity. That's brilliant. That's brilliant, man.
And to be honest, you could hear corruption doing it too, couldn't you? You could hear him doing it. He said, well, with my peripheral vision, there were other things that caught my fancy, and it turns out I'm gay. It'd be fucking phenomenal. You can hear him doing it.
Hey, what about you know what it made me think? If I was a woman and that shit happened to me, y'all know the episode of Seinfeld where Kramer.
Wait, hold on. Before you continue, the very idea that you have the thought if I was a woman makes you questionable right now.
All right, yeah, cool. We'll make gay jokes.
I have to say, I was a bit curious where we're going here.
All right, let me get my fucking shit in now. If I was a woman when that shit happened, I would be less upset if the man turned out to be gay. Okay, already I'm not. This is not a gay conversation because. All right, if the man was gay, I would be less upset. My point is, it's like the episode of Seinfeld where Kramer goes to this office and he starts working at this office. But he never applied for a job. He never went for an interview. He just decided to start going in and working. Wasn't even getting paid. And then the guy went and fired him. He calls him in the office at Kramer. Well, we're firing you. He says, well, I don't even work here. He says, well, that's what makes this so weird. He says, you know what I mean? It's like, if you're cheating on me and you're gay, it's like, well, you weren't even on the team to begin with. So.
But you gotta remember you're a dude. They don't think like us.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely not. You're right.
Like, let's say
Revolution, Doc just saved you by calling you a dude.
Unrivaled may have a point. Like it might be a Latina chick thing because that is, like that's the flavor I like most. But you know what I mean? That might be skewing the results, so to speak, on my end.
Yeah,
that could be it. But yeah, generally speaking, like I said, for whatever reason, they like especially if you're married, you're going to divorce court if they bust you if you turn out to be gay.
Let's 100%. Let's flip the script vote. Let's say this was opposite. Let's say this was opposite. So your girl,
oh boy,
she cheated on you with another chick. Yeah. If that's me, I'm going to ask
them to join in.
When's the threesome happening? That's what I'm saying.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's Delboy.
Look, baby,
you
this
read,
is
you
between
read the play
baby,
Delboy
baby
read that.
girl.
You read that perfectly.
Girl.
You read it perfectly. That's exactly where I was going to go after my question to him, or pointing out to him that we're dudes. They don't think like
I would.
We think different from them too. See?
Look, I would try to double dip on her. That's what we're thinking. If a girl started going for, she's cheating on me and she's a lesbian, I say, okay, first of all, you're bringing girls into the bed with us. And secondly, because you weren't telling me about it and you're cheating, now I'm going to go sleep with some people behind your back too. And I'll tell you straight up. So I'm going to get to cheat and I'm going to get threesomes. I'm double dipping on a bitch for doing that.
Exactly.
Look, this is what
most women don't think, at least the ones I've encountered, don't think that way about the subject. We're just not wired very differently.
Yeah, by the way,
you should have left that at just most women don't think. That would have been great.
By the way, one second.
Unrivaled just guaranteeing the demonetization.
Welch Schmertz. I went over this a bit earlier. Yeah, I think JD's he's a fucking disgrace as far as I'm concerned.
He's a yoga instructor, is what he is.
Yeah, imagine.
Did you ever see those interviews he gives? He's talking a happy place. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, 1 second. Like, imagine JD's. You think you've got authority over an Olympian who's boxed before, who's been knocked out. He knows what it's like to get fucking knocked out. He knows what it's about to go in the ring. Imagine having the audacity to question that man's decision.
So, okay, what exactly went on there? Because I just watched the fights. So I tend to miss a lot of this shit. Well, I've heard this brought up a few times now. What happened? What's going on with this JD's Mark Breland thing? What happened?
So yeah, JD's basically, he was saying that Mark Breland shouldn't have thrown in the towel, that Deontay should have continued. Now, this is a guy, Mark Breland. He's been an Olympian. He's been a top fighter. He's been knocked out. He knows exactly what it takes. And this cunt, who's probably like Mark said, he's probably a fucking boxer-sized trainer at best, having the audacity to say what he said. Mark Breland did the right thing. His man was getting beat up. He was bleeding out the ear. I know it was only a laceration in hindsight, but at the time, who knows what that could have been?
Now,
JD is a
isn't
fucking
JD?
disgrace.
Isn't he like the bucket carrier in that corner?
Oh, fuck knows what he is, but he's a fucking disgrace as far as I'm concerned.
If what you're telling me is what happened, I gotta agree. Like I said, my first reaction to that was what? What are you talking about? He shouldn't have stopped it. You trying to get him killed?
Yeah, exactly, man. I was disgusted with it.
Yeah, that's just what we need. Another ring death. Wonderful.
Because that was heading for listen, man, Deontay was done. He was completely done. And he would have continued.
Yeah,
So,
Deontay was on the way to becoming the body on his record that he wanted to be so badly.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, and he wasn't. He might have gone down again, but I don't think he was going to get knocked spark out by one punch either. He was just going to get beat up, and those are the kind of things that are career shortening. The beatings,
yeah.
At least that's the wisdom. What I always hear,
Because he wasn't going to quit. He
Boxing
wasn't going to quit. He needed saving from himself.
and exactly. And Tyson wasn't going to one punch spark him. He was going to batter him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could have turned into a Gerald McClellan. You didn't see Gerald McClellan get knocked out and eyes roll in the head. You just saw him blinking a lot. And next thing you know, he's done for life, you know.
Yeah,
Wilder looked like he was starting to blink quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
Well, he was getting punched up. His eyes were swollen up. He bleeding out his mouth. Of course.
Yeah.
The one thing I gotta give Wilder credit for is he wasn't going to fold.
No, he wasn't going to quit.
He was going to go out on his shield. So I got to give him credit for that.
He was going to go out on a shield, and fair play to him. But every time he threw a punch, man, he went like 4 feet to the side because of how tired he was. Like, he just couldn't keep himself up. Like, every punch he did was swinging his momentum so far. He had nothing left. And even if it landed on Fury, it was just body weight. It wasn't going to do much.
I was saying this. I was saying this last night.
It was just body weight. It wasn't going to do much. Mute your background, good sir. Good sir, mute your background. It was just body weight. It wasn't going to do much.
Somebody's got us.
Mute your background. It was just body. It wasn't going to do much.
Somebody's got us.
Mute your background. It was just body. It wasn't going to do much.
Somebody's got us.
Mute your background.
Sorry about that, guys. Sorry.
There we go. How's it going, Beats?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. How's everything?
So I was just saying what I said last night to you two guys. To me, why I want to know what Del and what you two think. Wilder, to me, doesn't punch the same back going backwards.
No, he doesn't. What you saw there in the end was a stressed fighter. He was stressed. He had to be pulled out, man. Like, you know what I mean? You can see when the fight is like his body language is just stressed. You have to be Deez is a piece of shit, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. They were just explaining to me what went on with all that because I hadn't really, heard the story.
JD
and for him to say that they stopped it too soon is just what? You know what I mean? That's like one of those brain short circuit. What the hell?
Let me tell you what JD's is. JD's is a money-hungry, parasitic yoga instructor who talks about being in a happy place and dancing in your frillies on a wet weekend. He's a spiritualistic coach. He ain't no boxing trainer. He ain't no psychologist. He doesn't know what he's talking about with a fighter in the ring. When he's talking about, you don't need to do road work and all he needs is the power in his hand and that's all it is. As though he has any authority over a man like Mark Breland. Mark Breland turned Wilder from being a raw powerhouse, and that's all it is, flailing his limbs everywhere, to being an ambush sniper, and that's it. He turned this complete, essentially not novice boxer into a lethal weapon with the right hand going forward.
Yeah, look, he took a guy that started at age 19 from starting at 19, which is incredibly late for a sport like boxing, especially at the professional level, to medaling in the Olympics, heck, just getting to the Olympics and becoming a world champion. Say what we want, you know what I mean? But like to your point, He took a raw on, you know what I mean? Not even a novice that started late and was able to at least develop him that much. So he knows what the hell he's doing. He's the chief second for a reason.
100%.
He should be the number one. J. Diaz shouldn't even be in a world championship boxing camp, and he's saying that Mark Breland shouldn't have done this, and probably he threw Mark Breland under the bus. That's what he did to try and save his own skin.
It's both idiotic and classless. If he said that.
It's what you expect from one of these hippie ass yoga instructors, man.
Yeah,
it's exactly what they do.
Shelly Finkel's no better though. Like Shelly Finkel right away. Rematch. Listen, man. Ask fucking Shannon Briggs what he thinks of Shelly Finkel leaving that dude in Germany. Yeah, after that Vitali fight to pay his fucking hospital bills, left him in the fucking hospital.
He had to spend his winnings. It cost him his winnings. He basically ended up with no money because he spent all of his winnings on his hospital bill.
You guys want to hear a little Shelly Finkel story? A little one I discovered out here where I live, right in Connecticut. We had like a coliseum. We had like a stadium, right? New Haven Coliseum. It got demolished back in 2001. Okay, so I was just watching a little documentary, dumb little local documentary about the Coliseum and all the fucking old shows, and they were showing all these old concert tickets. New Haven Coliseum, Motley Crue, Poison, Steely Dan, right? All these bands. Who was the fucking booker for all these bands at the New Haven Coliseum? Shelly fucking Finkel.
Yeah, he got into boxing by accident, really.
He was booking fucking concerts in the 70s and 80s.
That's right.
Al Heyman too. That's Al Heyman's background too. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about Finkel. I didn't know Finkel was a concert promoter as well.
I
felt like a private investigator when I learned that. I was like, wait a minute, Shelly Finkel. And I went to Google. I was like, no way. I thought
a lot of those promoter types and handler guys end up in there from like you kind of put it, almost by accident. Like the best one, me and Beats have talked about a bunch of times, Bob Arum.
Yeah, Bob Arum, yeah.
He figured out he could make more money screwing people over in boxing than he could screwing people over in a court of law.
Yeah.
You know, this is just a little like trivia little tidbit. Tyson Fury is the first heavyweight to end two separate 10+ title defenses in heavyweight history.
Oh, that's a cool one, man. The champ killer or something. The king killer. The king slayer.
Yeah, Vladimir and Wilder now. Like, fair play to him. That's something cool, man. That's some stuff.
And with the little fucking layoff in between, too,
But he also did it on the road. Which is mad impressive.
Here's the thing. Is how easy he made both of them fights look.
In two completely different styles, Beats.
And how easy he wins both of them. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, man. I didn't listen, man. I think we all thought that Tyson could outbox Wilder, but I never thought he'd just apply pressure like that, beat the brakes off him. And
I was very confident Tyson Fury was going to win the fight. I'll be honest with that. Like, I did get that.
I was surprised, Beats. I heard that. I heard your video. I was surprised how confident you were.
Yeah, I said he's going to box him more conclusively. He's going to add more. You see.
But see, you didn't think he was going to batter him that way either. No, I didn't either.
No. But I did.
I thought he was going to be physical. I thought he was going to be more physical, and I thought he was going to do more crowding than trying to stay out of range. But I didn't think he was going to punch him up like that.
I was 100%. When I say 100, not 100, I was quite confident Wilder weren't going to score a knockout.
You would have bet money on it.
If I was a gambler, I would have bet money that Wilder's not going to score a knockout. I'd have bet money.
One of my friends actually did that bet.
See, the thing with Fury, he learns from his fights. A lot of fighters fight and they don't learn from their fights. He learns. He learns and he studies, He's an
analyst.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's been boxing probably since he was like 5.
Since he was 5. Since he was 5 years old.
I guessed the number right. Okay. He's been boxing. And
he used to go up to the gym with his dad. He used to go up to the gym with his dad when he was 5 years old eating McDonald's.
His dad was at least a bare knuckle boxer or something.
He was a pro boxer. He was a pro boxer.
Even better.
His dad fought Henry Rockin' one day back in the day.
And you could see that difference in the ring. You know what I mean? Like I kind of got into a little bit about how just glaring it was how much more he knew what to do in the clinch.
I used to read that fights in the boxing news back in the day. He fought Henry Rockin' one day.
Oh wow! Okay, so see, he was a serious pro fighter. So and that's what I'm saying.
He was a solid mid-tier British guy.
Yeah, he imposed his size and he imposed that knowledge gap. I'll call it even more than just knowledge and skill gap of son of a boxer that started at age 5 versus a guy that started at 19. The
other thing about that is Fury's been studying tape most of his life. He used to watch boxing for fun.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Student of the game from age 5. Dad was a boxer. That's probably going to be part of that. Like I said, to a guy that stepped into a gym for the first time at 19, and it's just
he was in pro boxing gyms at the age of 5, fam. Like that's unbelievable experience. Doesn't matter who you are.
You can't start that late and be. Listen, there's exceptions like Larry Holmes started at 17. That guy was just something else. But like starting at 17, 18, 19, you can't be.
But you got to keep in mind his real pro career, right? It beats. Correct me if I'm wrong about this, or Unrivaled for that matter, or whoever for that matter. But to my recollection, if you really look at his career, he didn't start till like his mid to late 20s with the really serious step up fights and whatnot.
What age was Roy Williams?
Yeah. I want to say mid 20s, at minimum mid 20s. See, because he served like a good over half a decade apprenticeship with Frazier, Ali, the best fighters in the world.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but even
you see the thing with Holmes, he got the big reality check in the Olympic trials for 73 when he quit against Bobic. And they wrote him off. They said, you're a quitter. And Ali was.
They said it was legs. They said it was he didn't have the legs to box for the distance.
Yeah. His physique was wrong and everything. Yeah.
But look at lesser example is like Sergio Martinez. Like he started at 20. Like he fought so many fights in Argentina. Went to America, got smashed up by Margarito.
Yep.
Came back, went to the UK, fought Adrian Stone. People like that, and like
the two fights where he made his name in Britain was against Paul Williams. Not Paul Williams. What was that guy again? He fought him twice.
Yeah, I know who he's saying.
Yeah,
he fought like Richard Williams.
Richard Williams.
Yeah.
So, he fought Williams twice, and I think Adrian Stone, wasn't
it? Yeah.
And he beat up a few of them UK guys, didn't he? Barker, did he beat up Barker too?
He beat up Barker. He beat up Barker and Macklin.
Yeah,
that guy, man.
That's one of my favorite fights to watch on repeat.
What's that?
Martinez against Macklin. I love it. I can't stand Matthew Macklin. I hate him.
Well, see, Sergio's kind of the exception that proves the rule. I mean, because that's just freakish to start as late as he did and be as good as he was.
Yeah, man. I wish Sergio came along a little bit later, but. Yeah, he had tremendous athleticism. Like he was a fucking cyclist, a soccer player. He was an athlete anyway, but
he would. The thing he traded on, real quick, Beats. The thing he traded on was stamina because of that background.
That's why when he brought that kid over here to fight Ted Cheeseman, I said, "That's interesting. I know this kid's going to be fit." And if you any association you have Sergio Martinez, I know this kid is going to be well conditioned at the least. And
I remember when we were about to call that fight, and I was saying this Garcia's my dude, the Spaniard, and I was the one who actually said Martinez. He's with Martinez, blah 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 blah. And I remember Chris Caban saying Ted Cheeseman gonna beat the beat. I'm like, no, this dude's got a jab and he's got mad stamina. He's gonna beat the crap out of Cheeseman.
I remember when I heard you say that, I changed my pick. Yeah. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
He's good.
Sergio ain't coming over there with some dude to lose.
Yeah, I just wouldn't see that happening. I wouldn't see him associating himself with someone who wasn't competent at the least.
Well, and he's going to be there to win. You get me, Beats?
Yeah.
Plus, I was kind of big at the time on the Spaniards coming through. Like Del can even tell you, I was a Kerman Lahadraga fanboy. The dude who got smashed up by Avanesian.
I was shocked by that, the way Avanesian done him twice.
I was shocked by it too. I lost money on that.
To be honest, I mean, if they were truthful.
He was the favorite going into the Avanesian fight because Avanesian was coming off of the loss to Igis Kavaliauskas.
Well, and he was crumbling guys. He was folding guys up.
Yeah, first of all, he done on Bradley Skeet. He destroyed Skeet.
He also, mate, never mind what he did to Skeet. He killed Frankie Gaffin.
Oh yeah, he beat the hell out of that kid.
He went through a murderer's row of Kell Brook for a little bit. He did. All he needed was a Carson Jones fight and go life and death with him, and to get a stab wound for being gay out in Marbella. He'd have done the full trilogy.
But you know, truth, like Avanesian versus Josh Kelly, that's coming soon. That's a real fight.
That's a truth fight. Because we called Kelly versus Ray Robinson together, and I was like, remember how Ray Robinson made him change everything about his body language and his style in that fight? He just shelled up, and we both thought Ray Robinson beat him.
Yeah. Listen, Ray Robinson's no joke. I thought he was shit. I don't know why I did. And then after that, I'm like, okay, I mean, you don't need to.
Well, Ray Robinson has a draw with Igis, and Igis gave Crawford a bit of a fight as well. I actually felt as though Ray Robinson actually beat Igis.
Oh, Ugas, you're talking about the Cuban?
No, Igis, Kavaliauskas.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah, the Lithuanian guy with a Greek name, Kavaliauskas.
Okay.
Fights. He's on the PBC, and he said, "I'm on the side of the street where I want all the smoke." He said something like that. That was weird for a PBC fighter to say that. I was like, "What?
Who's this Ugas?
Ray Robinson. He wants to fight everyone."
Yeah, he's fighting there. I think he's with ESPN, is he not?
No, he's PBC, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he fought Igis Cavalier. He's fighting everywhere. He's been on ESPN shows. He's been on ESPN shows and DAZN shows. So I mean, I don't know where he is. He could be managed by Loeffler or something.
I've seen him. He's fought on all three. He's fought on all three on cards for all three. Because the Ugas fight, he fought Ugas. He got knocked out by Ugas, didn't he?
If you have that kind of mentality today, then it works against you. If you're a young fighter, I want to fight everyone. They'll laugh at you and say, well, you're an idiot. You won't get no fights. You get left on the sidelines nowadays for being ambitious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Well,
that's
guys,
why, yeah.
And thing, and
you know, that's why I like Teofimo though. Like he's kind of like he's convinced me. Like he wants to fight, man.
Yeah,
like,
does he? Are you sure now? Because that fight stalled because of purse bids. Because he's not happy with the 35%.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So yeah, there you go again. That's fucking blew that out of the fucking water. So yeah, proof speaks points, doesn't it? Really.
I'm not happy about that myself. 35% against a top 3 pound for pound fighter.
You're down in the end.
Let me say this, yeah. 2.5 million is what he was for 35%. Is what he's getting for that fight. 2.5 million. That's what he's being given for that fight at lightweight. With just after winning your first title. My guy, Roberto Duran got $1 million for the first fight with Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Leonard crushed him in terms of.
Yeah, but that's $1 million for Roberto Duran, who was already virtually a Hall of Famer at that point.
$1 million. That was probably more like 10 million back in Panama.
No, I didn't. Yeah, probably. I did inflation today. It would have been 3.6 million that he would have got in today's money. But still, that's only $1 million more than Teofimo Lopez, and that's a Hall of Famer going into the ring. But what? How many defenses? 14 defenses of undisputed at lightweight. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly. And let's not pretend for a second Teofimo versus Loma is anywhere near the caliber or scale of fight. That was the biggest fight in the world when it happened. When Leonard fought Duran.
So you saying now that Teofimo was stalling the fight?
I'm saying that they're not happy about the 35% and they haven't agreed to it because of that, and they want more money.
Oh,
Christ's sake. That's what I'm saying though. Like I was fucking sold on that.
It really is just tiring, isn't it, Beats?
Yeah.
There's very few people, man. Like Josh Taylor's one of them. Like he's doing some good bits, but fuck me. Like
look,
I mean, look at Jamal Charlo. Look, Jamal Charlo. What's he turned down? Fucking a career high payday to unify with Andrade. Apparently, he turned down Canelo. What's this guy's problem, man? I'm fucking just.
His problem is that peroxide that he's got in his head is seeping into his brain.
I don't think he gets to decide. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
I think that's the case. Not in every case, but I'd say the majority of boxers' cases.
And let me say this real fast before you go, Beach, just real quick. We're gonna see the exact same. We're not gonna see any of those PBC fighters cross the street again because of what Fury just did. Go ahead, Beats.
Doc, if no PBC fighter is making any independent decisions, they're all being controlled. Everything they say is being controlled.
That's in the contract. Yeah, without
go fight for Undisputed, he would have did it. If Al Heyman said take that DAZN money and bring them 3 belts back from AJ, he would have did it.
The only guys who get sent over are the guys who are like expendable, like Andy Ruiz. Like that guy wasn't shit. Let's be honest, he was expendable.
And the other one is Felix Diaz and what was John
Sergey Derevianchenko as well.
Yeah. John Molina.
Also Sergey Derevianchenko, because they look at him as expendable, which is quite ridiculous to look at him as being expendable because the fights you can make with Derevianchenko on your own platform are sick. Him versus Charlo and him versus Eubank. I'll watch both of them.
To be fair, in my opinion, Andy Ruiz is a top 10 heavyweight. Probably bottom top 10, but top 10 nonetheless.
When he went to fight AJ, he was expendable. In all truth,
he was after beating AJ. They just signed him. So yeah, in that sense, he was expendable. They didn't have any,
I know, but I had no plans for him, like no grand plan.
Yeah,
just another body on the roster.
Yeah.
And it's like Jamal Charlo, man, that guy's fucking too concerned about carrying man bags, fucking dyeing his hair like a fucking, I ain't gonna say it, but
the Louis Vuitton bags, yeah.
Look, it's ridiculous.
That is one of those. That's one of those generational things I don't get. I'm getting old.
To be honest, he's happy to get 35% to get a chance against Canelo. But it was probably more than that. I mean, we know it was a big offer.
And beats.
It's life-changing money, man.
Think about how much money 35% of a Canelo purse is.
Canelo's on a flat 40 million fee.
What?
Yeah, so you're gonna get like what does that come out to? Like 12 something million if you get 35% of 40.
But what happened to gambling to get in the game, to get become a franchise player? You take a short end of the money. You win that fight, and then you get in that concept is dead in boxing now.
Yeah, it's like a lot of these guys.
That's part of the when you're especially in championship fights, Beats. That's part of what you're taking from the champion. Is you're taking the ability to dictate terms in terms of you're going to make more money.
Well, look at Floyd, though. Look at Floyd.
Yeah. Look at Floyd.
Look at Floyd. Yeah, he built his resume. Castillo, Corrales. All of these guys, Gennaro Hernandez, whoever it may be, multi-weight world champion. He fights De La Hoya, B-side. De La Hoya's ring size, De La Hoya glove size, whatever it may be. He agreed to it. He beat him. He's the man. A lot of these dudes on the PBC, they see what Floyd achieved after that, and that's what they want. They don't want to take the hard steps to get there. They don't want to like Charlo. He doesn't want to fight Andrade. He doesn't want to unify. He doesn't want to fight these dudes.
Well, and this isn't an excuse, but it is also part of the equation. Floyd, we have. It's hard to remember sometimes, right? Because he was in our lifetime and fairly recently. Floyd had a singular work ethic. I don't care, you know what I mean, how good they are, you know what I mean. Even if you want to go into the past, he's got an all-time great work ethic.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Nobody's going to live up to that.
The guy would go to the club.
They beat Castillo. Castillo was the best lightweight in the division. He was the best.
Yes, he was.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Castillo was a hell of a fighter.
Yeah, and it was a tough fight. The first fight was tough.
And by the way, even when he went in against Hatton and he was past it, he was evens with Ricky Hatton. He was even odds, even money against Ricky Hatton in that fight.
Oh, look at this. Look, here we go with Damage Control. Full story coming soon. Lance Pugmire. Shortly, Deontay Wilder tells me he's definitely exercising his rematch clause for a summer trilogy against Tyson Fury, that his legs were weakened by his 45-pound costume he wore to the ring on a black.
What
No,
a costume!
the costume. I was waiting for like pre-existing injury.
Yeah,
Or something like that to come out, which would have been bad enough, but costume.
I don't want to hear about.
My bling was too heavy.
Hold on.
Mate.
I'm just gonna say this. If you're a professional athlete, yeah, and you can't walk 70 feet with a 45-pound weight without exhausting yourself in like 2 minutes, you've no point getting into a ring. Because I can do that.
Yeah, motherfuckers who make it through the first 2-3 weeks of boot camp.
Who let him say that? Or you know what I mean?
Well, JD
like somebody, if I'm one of his handlers, I'm like, yeah, that's nice. We're telling them there was some kind of injury. If we're gonna come up with some kind of excuse or reason, we're not gonna sit here and tell the public it was your costume. I'm not letting that come out of my camp.
We're overlooking something here, guys. We're overlooking a little something. Deontay walked to the ring. What did Fury do? Fury was
carried by women.
He was on a throne, and Fury got carried. He was saving.
I felt sorry for those women, by the way, when they were turning that fucking thing. Did you see them struggling?
I had to do a double take. I was like, wait a minute, are those women carrying him? What the? Well,
they weren't carrying him. They were steering the thing. There was 2 men at the back.
Okay.
I didn't see him struggling to walk to the ring. As far as I didn't see him struggling to walk to the ring. I didn't see that.
No, I didn't see that.
Nah, it's complete nonsense,
dude,
man.
If that's real, if you really
it's real, I saw it.
Because that you don't admit it.
No, exactly. That's what I was saying. If I'm in his camp, I don't let that come out. Are you kidding me? No.
You say, "Wow, I'm a dumbass for letting myself lose a fight because I wanted to dress up like fucking the Terminator."
Well, it's just a terrible sounding excuse. I mean, if you're gonna go the excuse route or excuse or reason, whatever way you want to look at it, if you're gonna go that route, you like I said, you go injury, right? Because everybody's injured anyways in pro sports. Most of the, you know what I mean? There's being injured and then there's being hurt. Everybody's got some kind of nagging injury or something. You don't go through 6 month or whatever or 3 month boxing camps and not pick up something.
Listen, man, David Hay last decade, he won the excuse trophy with that toe gate. Deontay Wilder's won it already, man, this decade.
Oh, yeah.
With the Liberace's House of Crap fucking costume fucking excuse. What's this dude doing? Playing hocus pocus on the street or some shit?
I can't believe I'm fucking laughing inside so hard. This man went from I want to kill somebody in the ring. I'm the most dangerous man in the world. I'm this, I'm that. 2, I lost because my legs were weak because my outfit was too heavy when I was walking the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the baddest man on the planet. He lost because of a fucking Halloween costume.
And his fans are absolute joke. Do you hear them complaining? Oh, and listen.
How many rubber punches has Wilder thrown in his career?
Exactly.
And when you're turning your back like that, those are legal rabbit punches.
Yes, exactly. Yes. It's incidental. It's not.
They didn't complain about the one where when Tyson Fury was pulled away with Kenny Bayless and his head was facing completely away, and Wilder actually threw and missed a punch aiming directly at the back of his head.
Look at the Ortiz knockout in the first fight.
Yeah.
He forearmed him on the back of the head and neck at least 18 times in that fight against Ortiz.
I don't pull him up for that. I say, no, that's okay. So see, that's the thing. What goes around comes around. I don't pull up no fighter for that. Like when God forgive, but that Richard Colon, I didn't really. I don't think that he did foul, but I don't think it was. People wouldn't have complained until he went into the coma or whatever. That's when people started taking issue with it.
It'd be like Roberto Duran complaining about headbutts and thumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
See, and if one wants to, say Roberto Duran was a bit dirty, of course he was.
Yeah, of course he was.
Ask
but yeah, exactly. Ruptured man's testicle. Okay,
absolutely. Hold on.
Knocked him out with a dick punch and ruptured his testicle.
Hold on. I'm not allowing this sacrilegious behavior. No one takes the name of Roberto Duran in vain and calls him Dorothy, okay? That doesn't do him justice.
But my point is,
He was porn star
now,
Dorothy,
I
man.
could be wrong. I could be wrong about this, but I don't recall ever hearing Roberto Duran complain about another fighter being dirty against him.
No.
He took it. He just took it. Mark, I was waiting for a precision intricacy line right there.
He was. Yeah.
I thought you were going to take it and make it more. It wasn't
No,
dirty. It
was precision. It was precise intricacy.
It's so great. I love it.
Honestly, I can't believe that.
That 1-2 that Tyson Fury scored to knock down Wilder was a beauty. It was right on the top. Where do you think the punch is going to go? He's flipping 3 inches taller than you.
Yeah, and he was ducking down, man. Like
on the top of your head.
By the way, that 1-2 that he did, does that remind anybody like that setup and that two, pretty much the exact same in a different position to Wilder versus Brazil?
Yeah.
Great punch.
Yeah.
The left hook, it was more of a left hook, and that was really the punch to me more that's gone overlooked. And from everybody's talked about the jab and the punch behind that one punch behind the ear, but really all night to me it was the left hook.
Yeah, but if you give up the back of your head, what do people expect? Like for you not to hit them? Like, well, fucking hell. Like,
well, it happens all the time. If you watch it in boxing, all the time.
Yeah.
Listen, shout out to Tyson Fury. If they want a rematch, put it in England. He has to go over there now.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have a say though.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? We're gonna do Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and then what?
What do they think can change? What do they think? See, the thing is, right? Ring IQ made a great point. When AJ rematched Ruiz, you could see that not that he was definitely going to win the rematch, but you had at least a tangible theory. If AJ keeps it at range for longer, he has more of a chance. What the fuck can Deontay Wilder do?
Exactly.
The only thing he can do, the only thing he can do is pretty much flail his limbs like he did in the beginning of his career and hope for the best.
See, you know what?
I'll be a little more kind. He can, and I mentioned this when we were on the hangout the night of the fight beats.
Yeah.
What he could do is he could come in there like I remember somebody mentioning Hagler Hearns. If that's the one thing he can change to give himself a little bit better shot. I'm not saying he wins, but he gives himself a better shot if he just goes in there and goes, okay, I'm not backing up. I'm going to stand in the middle of the ring, and one of us is going to fucking sleep.
Yeah, 100%. Like with Ruiz Joshua, like even with a rematch, like with Ruiz, there was always a clear and obvious way to beat Ruiz. We saw the Parker fight. Whether you thought he lost or won, when Parker had it at range, he was
the feet. His feet are too slow. Randy Ruiz's feet are too slow.
Parker was having the best of it when it was at range. If Joshua, we knew going into that rematch, if Joshua can keep the range, make the most of his physical advantages, he can win the fight. There's a clear path to win. What's Wilder going to do, really? He's going to
roll the dice. He can roll the dice. He can roll the dice.
It's hope.
Yep.
Beats, where did you find this news? I want to read it myself.
It's Twitter. I saw it on Twitter.
Who tweeted
it? Lance Pugmire.
Pugmire? The fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know that's going to be true because he's a shill for the BBC.
Fury is going to be even better. And Wilder also has harsh words for Kenny Bayless, alleging Bayless declined to effectively confront Correa over a slew of punches to the back of Wilder's head and neck after telling Wilder he would disqualify him if he did the same in the pre-fight dressing room.
Yeah. And okay, what about the late hit that Wilder took on the break that Kenny Bayless, he saw it and he didn't address it. I watched him watch Wilder come on the break after he said stop. He gave Wilder a death stare and didn't say a word and just let it keep going.
It's to be honest.
And you know what? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The LDBC is falling onto their final fucking thing. You know what they're saying now? Once the LDBC loses everything, they say, "Oh well, Prime Mike Tyson beats both of them." That's all they can do. When all else fails, Prime Mike beats everyone. And that's what I've been seeing on like Instagram.
I don't know about everyone, but I think he beats those two. But I think he beats everybody in this era. I'm not impressed by this era.
Beats Tyson Fury.
I don't know if Prime Mike beats Tyson Fury.
That's probably that's the toughest one. That's the toughest one for him.
I'm gonna be honest, man. Like the way Tyson Fury can fight, the length, everything he can do, a heavyweight like fight on the back foot, front foot. I'm struggling to find anybody who I'd really make a favorite against him in a one-on-one fantasy fight. I am struggling.
Larry Holmes.
The weird thing is,
yeah, I think Larry Holmes beats him up.
He struggles against Otto Wallen though. He looks shit, and then
well, he fights to the level of competition. To be fair, don't he? He's always done that, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I'm phrasing that as a question because, like, it seems I haven't seen all of his career, especially his early career. Maybe I'm misreading it, but that seems to be he seems to have almost like they say that about the Cubans a lot. About they fight to the level of competition.
I'll tell you now. Yeah, he did against Valin. He fought down McDermott. He fought down in the first fight against Chisora. Maybe in the first fight, maybe it's that, or he just wasn't expecting our those styles can be a struggle from. But what the dude does is he adapts and he changes. He learns, as you said earlier, Beats. He learns in the ring.
Oh yeah, because he schooled Chisora the second time.
And let's be honest, Beats. Walin had a lot of success, but that cut was kind of a freak thing. I don't think anybody expected. Even Walin didn't expect to get that cut on him, and that changed the whole complexion of the fight.
Well, you never expect to get a cut in a fight.
Yeah. True. But it happened early enough where it changed the complexion of the whole fight. Where if you didn't get the cut from that punch, you would have seen different game plans and. So it would have been a more dominant performance.
So Wilder has got nothing to say about Kenny Bayless, who was giving him seconds to breathe in the vital seconds.
Yeah, man.
How many exchanges? I mean, come on, Wilder. Stop it.
Like Kenny was breaking it. Yeah, he was like as soon as it goes into a clinch, he breaks it and then takes 5 seconds to resume the action.
See, maybe it was because I had my volume off. To me, it came across like what I picked up on was to me he was struggling to break them. He was having a real hard time managing it, because they're two huge fucking guys. But the point deduction had me going, what for what? I didn't even understand that. What the point deduction was for. That's what
he pulled his head down. He pulled his head down and hit him with an uppercut.
Well, the old Lennox Lewis. We talked about that. He threw the old Lennox Lewis a few times last night.
Yeah, and this is why, though, Wilder, man, all these excuses straight away. Listen.
Well, they're bad excuses. It's bad excuses.
He's deluded, man. I mean, fucking, he doesn't fill me with any confidence that he's actually going to sit there, watch tape, and try to actually come up with a strategy on how to win.
I'll tell you why he's making the excuses. To try, because of how bad that beating was. Look, this is his only way of getting a world title shot again, because otherwise he's going to fall down way back behind everybody in mandatory slots and he ain't getting no fight off Joshua. It's his only way. It's his only damn way to get a title shot immediately.
And you know what? It also, some of that does also fall under the purview of the kind of, irrationality you have to be a boxer at that level. You know what I mean? You've got to... Psychologically, you've got to find something to build on, even if it's something you make up.
That's true.
Fighters have a history of just making shit up, whether it's perceived slights or whatever.
That's true. That is true. But surely that's what your team's for, to ground you back to reality.
Well, but where I was going with it is, but these are bad excuses. It's like I'm not advocating the excuse route, but I'm just saying if you're gonna do it. Don't go with my suit was my costume was too heavy going to the ring. That's horrible. That's horrible.
My dog ate the homework.
Exactly. You got to be a little more creative.
As well, they're not going to criticize Kenny Bayless for when Wilder was punched in the head and he pretty much fell onto Fury and tried to keep himself up and then fell over.
This is what I'm getting at. I thought he was just struggling with two really big guys. And that again, it might have been because the audio was off, or if I watch it again, maybe I'll see it differently. The point deduction was what I thought was egregious.
Yeah, but my whole thing is with Wilder, we all know the guy's fucking. Listen, he's deluded, but what's his team doing right now? Like
That's what I'm
JD
saying. Yeah, how do you
coming out with that fucking
how do you throw
Like-
Breland under the bus? How do you come out with the costume was too heavy? It's bad.
Like, his whole team are complete yes men, but all out for number one. They ain't got this guy's best interest at heart. Like and his fan base as well. Like these guys.
Shelley
know
Finkel,
that.
yeah, certainly
You know,
Shelley Finkel.
The Wilder fan base, yeah. I remember Wilder on the come up. Like I remember when he fought in Sheffield. They were nowhere, man.
Yeah.
They were nowhere. These guys would have rather seen Deontay Wilder stay in there, take a fucking beating to prove a point.
I'll tell you now. All these fanboys that jumped onto it. Beats, you remember Deontay Wilder? He was like, I'm gonna say this for now. Beats probably won't, but with people like Beats and EJ and everything, he was sleeping by his damn phone trying to get calls and people to listen to him.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I
with
was
Wilder.
the first YouTuber to. I mean, despite what
Yeah.
anyone say, I was the
But that's
first.
the thing though, with Wilder, yeah, like I remember this dude on the come up, like he was a completely different person almost. Like it's almost like this guy's just been fucking poisoned. Like he was like on the come up, he was kind of corny, he was goofy, but he was just like almost relatable. Like his story was good, like his daughter, you could root for him. He seemed like a proper good dude, but like
Doing his little cheesy rap lines like the
Yeah,
feet
like
boy fall foam crap and everything.
yeah, I swear down, if that guy, I don't know, man. He seems like a guy who's easily taken advantage of, Deontay Wilder. Just all these people around him, like apart from Mark Breland, like Shelley Finkel, JD's, his fan base, like these guys ain't got his best interest at heart. Like I don't think he should take a Fury rematch right away. personally.
The reason he's doing it is because he has no choice.
Shelley Finkel is like, you know, he's like a variation on Bob Arum. All he cares about is the money, bro. Everybody knows
Wilder's
that.
being cashed out now. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Bye
It's
bye.
just boy, you got beaten up by him. Whatever. Go in there, do it again, and good luck. Good riddance. That's what they're doing with him.
Bob Arum, how he finessed himself into the heavyweight division. 12 months ago, he had nothing. Like 18 months ago, he had nothing. Now he's got.
Now he's got a nice little stable, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? He's got
Just finesse right in there. But man, he didn't have anything in quite a few divisions. Now he's got number ones in most of them.
Well, see, I don't know. Beats and I've talked about this before too. Al's misplayed the heavyweight thing a few times. Like going back to the Charles Martin thing. How do you let someone from the outside punch up Charles Martin and not Wilder? Because I think he would have knocked him out.
The thing is, like Henry Tillman, who was in Charles Martin's corner, said they were negotiating with Wilder, right, to fight.
Yes, sir.
And then Eddie came up with the $5 million, and took the fight.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
was 5 million. That was
Al,
£5 million, by the way. Let's specify.
Al should made a mistake not going, okay, whatever, 10 million. You know what I mean? You don't let that escape.
No, but no one was paying $10 million for no Charles
Back
Martin.
then.
In hindsight, he should have though, shouldn't he? Don't you think?
Yeah, in hindsight they should have. But at that time, right?
But this is all I'm saying.
Hold on. Fury had relinquished the belts. He wasn't fighting, right? Klitschko was on the sidelines. There was nothing happening. There was no money in the division like that. So $5 million for Charles Martin, like who wasn't even supposed to get a shot until Fury lost, was a fortune. I mean, Wilder's biggest purse up until that point was about $1 million. So they weren't going to pay no Charles Martin no $5 million.
But Eddie paid. But why did
Charles Martin weren't a bigger name as Wilder? They weren't going to pay him $5 million.
I get all that. I'm with you. But we all know, everybody knows, you know, no matter, because the heavyweight division was still in a low point. Would we all agree at that juncture?
Not in the UK, because Joshua was rising.
It was starting to heat up. It was starting to heat up. It was just starting to heat up. Okay, starting to percolate. But here's the thing. Everybody knows that when it comes back around, the heavyweight division is it.
Yeah,
That's what brings in the casual. Eddie, hang on. Eddie, the reason, in my opinion, you guys from over there can, you know, inform me if you know better for whatever reason. But my perception is this: Eddie was basically gambling on, okay, the heavyweight division is eventually going to come back here. I'm thinking it's going to be sooner than later, so I'm going to go ahead and try and get this fight right and overpay right? Is which is your basic point? Beats Eddie overpaid, right? Would you say at the time?
Well, let me break it down for you, right? When Eddie overpaid, he already had the success of the pay-per-view fight and the gate at the O2 with Dillian. So they said, hey, listen, this kid is actually gonna do something. At the time, Wilder was fighting in front of a couple of thousand, and they didn't give a shit about the heavyweight division. America lost interest in the heavyweight division since they took the Klitschko's off HBO and Showtime and whatnot. They lost interest.
Which was a mistake.
They just pulled back a couple of belts, and then they said, oh, well, we've got Wilder. Let's start building him up. That's when they started getting into it again. But
you see, that's I'm really starting to think after how much attention the fight got over here, right, this last weekend. I'm really starting to think that's been what's really one of the main. I think that's been a overlooked factor in the demise of boxing's popularity over here was the heavyweights being thrown off the network. Because the heavyweight division is what brings in the casuals over here more than anything else. Because I mean that we talked about it on Saturday Beats over here. That fight that was the most attention any boxing fight's gotten over here since Floyd versus Manny.
Yep. I mean, Tyson Fury right now. Sorry to stress. Tyson Fury right now is massive. I see Tyson Fury on the front page of newspapers. And everybody's talking about Tyson Fury right now.
It was dude, they were leading some of the like shows on ESPN and shit with it. That was like the first story. Boxing, yeah.
Shit.
But and my point is though, Al just he's missed the boat twice now in terms of the heavyweight division and not realizing that long term even if you have to overpay, it could be, you know what I mean? It's a risk worth taking because long term, that's where you're really going to make the biggest amount of money over here and get the most attention. All right, is with the heavyweights, and eventually the division wasn't going to be dead forever. No division is.
Yeah, with Wilder losing now, like what's that done to American boxing though? Because who's coming up after Wilder? Like you've got a few contenders like Kalinowski and Miller, but
for the attention of the sport, in terms of just the sport and the attention it gets, it's a positive. It didn't matter who won last night because
you think
absolutely because I'm dead serious. It's not even close. That fight that's the most attention a fight has gotten over here from the casual media, ESPN. Fox Sports, just in the average sports fan, people talking to people randomly in the street, and it coming up as a subject. That's the most attention a boxing fight over here has gotten since Manny versus Floyd.
It's true.
But long term.
In terms of eyes on the sport, it's a positive.
Yeah, but long term, if the belts don't go back to America, which I can't see it happening. I
got the response. Look at UFC right now. Who in America is the most popular UFC fighter, sells the most tickets? Conor McGregor.
Yep.
So it doesn't have to do with a patriotic thing so much anymore.
And now
people in America will back Fury just because. And plus, you got to know in America too, we're like a people that don't have like a culture. A lot of us kind of trace back to Italian culture, where our grandparents and shit came from. Italian, Irish culture,
the melting pot. Yeah.
We call back to where we came from, and we got a lot of Irish Americans here. So they're all going to be back in Tyson Fury, the whole Irish Gypsy King shit. They're buying up. They're eating into it. They're buying into it and eating it up. That's what I meant to say.
Maybe, but like. I mean, who's coming up after Wilder? Like Miller, Kalinowski. There's not many.
If they fight over here, that's the thing, Adele. If the fights happen over here, right? I think it'll continue to do okay. But if the fights all dry up and start occurring overseas, which is possible, because I mean that's a massive fight, obviously over there. I mean that's a no-brainer. You could. We were saying, you could fill out 2 Wembleys, right, for Fury versus Joshua right now.
Yeah, and the rest, yeah.
And the rest, mate. Listen, you could live aid that shit. You could live aid that shit. You could put that on Hyde Park and have everybody in the country show up. I'm not joking.
Yeah, for real.
That thing will shut England down. You can put that on anywhere. You could put Croke Park, Old Trafford, and Wembley on top of each other, and they'll sell out all three stadiums.
Yeah, I can see that.
And wait, Del, another one to answer your question, Del. Who's the next American boxer to come up? Just a possibility. If Andy Ruiz spends the rest of the year getting in shape,
It's not going to happen.
Look,
I'm saying
revolution. There's as much chances of Andy Ruiz spending the rest of the year getting in shape as there is of me getting into the ring and knocking out Deontay Wilder in a round.
Well, here's what they can do.
Anybody can do it.
By the way,
it isn't going to happen. But
hold on.
Go ahead.
Tommy Temper, thank you for the sticker, by the way, man. Cheers. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Del appreciates your contribution to the channel, Tommy. We do apologize. He's not used to getting any.
The one thing it's not going to happen, but like we talked about, possible routes to getting to the goal there with Ruiz. The one thing that would work, and this goes back to the first fight with AJ, is if he stayed active, just rolled from one fight into the next camp, because that I think more than anything benefited him. I think that I said it going into it, and I said it afterwards. It benefited him that he went right from the Dimitrenko fight in camp right into a camp for AJ. Short notice. I think the short notice made it so he had no chance to, be out of the gym, living it up, getting out of shape, any of that. He was just working. I think he's the kind of fighter where if he fought 4 or 5 times a year, he would do better.
Look, real fighters who make big purses but go down as greats, they don't even look at that bank balance and don't even, they know that they're focused on their career. Andy's career is ruined now he's got that money. Trust me.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's done. I think he's done as well, man.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm just saying that would be the one, realistic cure, because you're not going to have to. You're not changing his habits. You're just keeping him so busy that he can't, get caught up.
I try, guys. You'd be surprised how often I comment on Andy Ruiz's page. Just tell him, come on, man, you could do this. Just get in shape, bro. I comment whenever I see him posting anything. I just comment, come on, Andy, stay focused. Just lose the weight. You could get it. Do it. I want it to happen so bad.
Fight more often. I really think there's a lot of fighters that would benefit in that regard from fighting more often. So they can't get into trouble.
Ruiz could fight Charles Martin next. And he could fight Kaunacki next. He's got a couple of these mid-range top 10 guys. If he knocks a few of them off this year.
Nah. Let me tell you, he's not going to beat none. I'll tell you what. The struggle to beat them guys. Andy Ruiz's self-esteem isn't tied into his boxing. It's tied into his money right now.
He's got the money.
I didn't see him posing in big cars because he didn't have it before. Now he's wearing chains, cars. I've got this. Look at. He's redefined himself with the purses he's earned.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes that can be. It sounds strange, but if you really come from nothing, right, and you suddenly have success like that, and suddenly you've got all that money, it can actually be a detriment in the sense of you're going to feel like you've climbed the mountain. It's like, well, fuck, I never thought in a million years I'd touch this kind of money, right? So it's like, it's almost like you've already accomplished the goal. The mission's over. You follow?
Yeah.
Another thing with American boxing, by the way, what happened with like grassroots American boxing? So before these guys become champions, why is there no domestic fights? Why didn't Deontay Wilder fight Bryant Jennings, for example, before he's a champion?
Well, it's not just that though. It's even when they do happen. I've harped on this for years now. They are always trying to put all these fights in Vegas or the West Coast or the East Coast, and they're not growing guys regionally.
Yeah,
and back in the day, Sugar Ray Leonard, he fought in the DC area coming up. And it's in the New England area, and then slowly radiated out from there. I mean, he probably had a few fights outside of it, but he had quite a few in that area.
I'll have a stab at it. In the 80s, in America, right? Yeah. Boxing, American football, and baseball and basketball, there wasn't that big financial, or there wasn't that big disparity between the popularity that there is now between them sports. So back then, you had the USBA title, the NABF title, and they'd be on TV, and they were quite popular. They'd have and that was
prime time TV
over in America. They don't have that no more.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
The only time people are interested in boxing now is if Wilder or Tyson Fury or Canelo or Floyd. It has to be a big event for America to be involved now. That's the thing.
There's no grassroots fucking scene in America right now.
In America, there is no equivalent to Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce right now. They don't have it.
Yeah, like they mock, like there are people out there who like mock the British title, the Commonwealth, the European, but listen, man, it's a solid ladder, man. It really is, and it's made for some great fights.
It's a solid ladder, and it gets people interested. What it is, like, people all around the country want to know what their boy from up northeast is going to do to the London boy, and it gels our scene together. That has always been integral. So in the UK, we don't mind if people laugh. Yeah, okay, you can laugh at the belt, say it's funny and this and that, but it's very integral to our boxing scene. Like domestic boxing is, if that falls apart in British boxing, we're done.
Yeah, we're fucked.
See, Hearns and Leonard. Hearns and Leonard, one of the biggest fights in history, right? Hearns, much like I mentioned, Leonard fought a lot in the DC area starting out. Where did Hearns fight a lot starting out? Detroit area, okay? And because he built up that, they built him up that way, because we have bigger regions over here, so it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different structurally. Yeah, so, but when those two fought, to your point, Beats, as much as it was the biggest fight, in the world, there was also a big element of, Midwest versus New England, DC versus Detroit. That was, trust me, you look at their entourages. Trust me, that was a factor. Those two had huge followings in those areas, is what I'm trying to get at, that they were able to build off of and become stars.
It's like the Super Bowl kind of. The Super Bowl, you get two teams, they're from two cities. The entire country watches, but those two cities are at each other's throat. Everybody's watching, but there is that beef that's going on.
Right. Those are the two core fan bases, and everybody kind of decides, okay, I'm going to take this side or whatever.
Give America a little credit. We still got up here. We love motherfucking Joe Smith Jr. I love him. He's an hour away from where I live. I fucking love Joe Smith Jr.
Yeah, but who are his domestic rivals? Kind of people. But who are his domestic rivals? Where is the other American fight? Like, okay, because he's not let's say he's not world level right now.
No.
He's just below that. Where does he get a domestic rival where it's an attractive fight? People want to see that fight.
Yeah, you need somebody built up in another region for him to clash against.
No, Jesse Hart's a good example because he's that Philadelphia scene. Andy was, you could tie in the Bernard Hopkins. He's a protege of Hopkins too. So it was a little Long Island versus Philly. That's a nice.
Exactly. Now, see that he's exactly right. That's the proper way to build up. But you got to do it with the world level guys, and with the world level talent and prospects. Like I was saying, they keep trying to force all of their fights, onto the West Coast, the East Coast, or Vegas, and not building them up in their region first. Because then you get, that's how you get that really rabid fan base to build up.
Terrence Crawford in Omaha. Look at that fucking crowd.
Oh yeah, exactly. They got
crazy. You never hear that in America. Like in America,
Ramirez being built up similarly to that. To your point, Ramirez, they're doing it. You're in the Southwest. So in America,
they don't, like, the whole regional thing is just completely obsolete. Like, these promoters, they don't put on shows where the fight is from at all. Yeah. Never happens. What's all that about?
Well, and it's also another part of it is our friggin' Olympic team, our amateur system's in shambles. Okay, all of our you gotta, and we've got, because I mean look at the standard we've set. All right, Ali Frazier, gold medalists. Sugar Ray Leonard, gold medalist, right? These are like the biggest of the big names in terms of like boxing stars from the era when boxing, to Beach's point, was on par, if not bigger than the NFL. In the 70s, it was bigger than the NFL, which is unthinkable now. It was bigger than the NBA in the 80s. In the 80s, the NBA playoffs were still on tape delay. They weren't even playing them live in the early 80s.
American footballers had second jobs back then in the 70s.
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't until about the mid 70s that it started to pick up momentum. But boxing, because Muhammad Ali was the most famous person on the planet, boxing was, it was boxing. Baseball was still gigantic, and then those were the two biggest things in the country, really. I mean, you had other stuff like people will bring up horse racing, but I kind of view that as like a different category. But that's just me. But my point, but to build those kind of stars, the thing was we saw those guys from the time that we saw, because all back then the Olympics were on prime time. There was 3 channels, right? And it was usually ABC, right? You had the fights were in prime time. We saw Sugar Ray Leonard win the Olympic gold in prime time. Same with Frazier, same with Ali, same with a bunch of these guys. So we got, so that's the other part of growing these guys that isn't happening anymore. But that's a structural thing. Our Olympic team's just in such shambles. We don't win gold medals. If we win a gold medal, like Andre Ward, it's memorable. We used to, like Beats said it a few times now in the past, we used to win gold medals for fun in boxing. We used to win gold medals, plural, for fun.
Yeah, and now look, you're getting outperformed by Azerbaijan. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly, unthinkable in the 80s and the 70s. Unthinkable.
I think another thing though, what helps the UK as well is like the football culture. Like there's like this tribal element, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, look at Josh Warrington, for example.
What kind of coverage does the Olympic boxing get over there? Because now it's like you got to struggle to find it on TV. Whereas, like I said,
it's kind of big.
Is it easy to find? Is it like you already have to dig through channels and whatnot to find it? Because that's what's happened here. Is you can find it on TV, but you'd have to be looking for it. Whereas it used to be, front and center.
Yeah, or you're flipping channels and boop, there it is. Oh,
yeah, it's pretty big to be fair. Like 2012, like Joshua and Anthony Ogogo, these guys were pretty much household names before they turned pro. To be honest,
yeah, Luke Campbell and
Luke Campbell,
Katie Taylor, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you who covered the Olympics for us in the last 20 years. In the 80s, it was friggin' Howard Cosell, O.J. Simpson, George Foreman did it a couple of fights that I can recall. You know what I mean? So it was just massive. It was massive. So we already knew these guys before they had their first pro fight.
I think the whole what Beats was saying earlier, like the NABF and things like that. I think like American boxing could be.
The difference is those belts mattered, and what's happened is any kind of non-primary title belt has been so devalued because there's so many of them.
Well, what happened? What happened in the 80s? Yeah, is you had the NABF, USBA, and then the IBF came into the picture, and then you started getting the intercontinental belts and all that shit, and it just diluted all the belts. For the most.
Yeah. Well, the IBF was clever though, Beats. Because by getting Larry Holmes, because if they hadn't gotten Larry Holmes, who knows how it could have been like the WBO where they struggled for years to get recognized. But because they got Larry Holmes, the IBF had instant credibility, and it's kind of like we were forced to accept that new belt.
Well, Larry Holmes and Marvin Hagler and Don Curry were the
yeah.
They
That's a good lineup, man.
Yeah. Speaking of that, have you noticed the IBO now starting to get a bit more traction?
I hope not. I really hope not.
You notice though, like Golovkin's had it, Joshua's had it, Eubank Jr.'s had it.
The reason it gets it does get a little bit of traction, and the reason why is because some people like the fact that it's computerized. So they feel like there's no built-in.
Huh.
There's a lack of human bias in terms of the rankings and who gets the title shots and all that. It's all just computerized algorithm, if you will.
But not with judges, right? The matches have judges, obviously, right?
No. I'm talking about in terms of who's considered the number one contender and who's ranked where.
And there ain't no robot. There ain't no robot referee walking around.
No.
No holding.
But what they would tell you, I would think, if I had to speculate, what they would tell you is that, for example, with the IBO belt, you'd never ever see what's gone on with Dillian being how long is it now? 3 years he's been the number one contender.
Yeah,
for the WBC.
Yeah, about 3 years.
And not to mention, like Del, did you know that the friggin' old George Washington and Charles Martin was a title eliminator?
Yeah, so like a semi-final eliminator.
How
kind of
did
thing.
how in the infinite layers of the abyss did either of those two get a title shot? How?
Knocking out Robert Hellenius.
What?
And going the distance with Konaki, I think.
Yeah, exactly. IBF, what are you doing? What are you doing, IBF? Come on, man.
Hey, man, I would like to see fucking Wilder versus Charles Martin. I think that'd be a good fight now.
Oh God, he would splatter. I'd enjoy watching him splatter him. I mean, but it shouldn't. Oh, that just makes my. I couldn't believe it when I saw that.
Fucked up now. I think Wilder's head and his heart are all fucked up now. I think he's just going to get whooped. I think Gerald Washington could walk him down at this point.
No,
all these guys he's knocked out, they're going to get their wins back over him. You're going to see Audley Harrison come back. You're going to see
oh my God,
Matthew Greer. Areola's going to come out of retirement and say, "Hey, shit, we going to get our licks back. Come on, everybody!" And they're going to.
Jesus Christ!
I don't dude. He will splatter Charles Martin. I'm sorry, he will splatter Charles Martin.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, in all seriousness, guys, he will. Yeah, everyone got real serious.
He will splatter Charles Martin. That's unthinkable. How does I can't get that up. How either one?
We have to wait and see. We don't know what's coming back. You know?
That's a nice knockout. That's a nice knockout, actually, to be fair.
Wilder's legs may never be the same after carrying. First, he had to carry 45 pounds of costume. Then, for 7 rounds, he had to carry about 50 pounds of meat off of Fury, who was leaning on him. Those legs may never be the same, boys. He's done. He's done for. He's going to be in the ring with a walker, and Johan Duhaupas going to be fucking laying him out in the first round.
Man, did you see that knockout from Charles Martin? That was a decent little shot, to be fair.
He caught him, yeah. He caught him.
Sneaky, yeah. He's sneaky as fuck, but he's just so cumbersome and Charles Martin, really, I mean, he's the type of fighter I want to be seeing the winner of Joyce Dubois in with. That's his,
he was a little out of shape too. He was a little pudgy looking too, man. He was like a little bottom heavy, whereas Dominic Breazeale looked a little top heavy in their last fight. They could make a tag team called like Tits and Ass or something. And fucking Breazeale is the tits and that's Martin's the ass.
Easy. Oh boy.
It's going to be interesting though to see how this all pans out, but yeah, it's looking like
he shouldn't be immediately rematching. I agree with you guys.
Absolutely not.
Let him splatter Charles Martin and punch up. Kawanaki's a good fight. Kawanaki will bring the food right to him. That'll be a little more challenging than Charles Martin, in my opinion. But I think he beats him.
So do I. I think that's the ideal thing, though. Like, give Wilder some time to lick his wounds, recover, whatnot. End of the year, fight Kaunatski, go from there. Like, Kaunatski's highly ranked anyway, so, maybe even Manuel Charr, get a regular bout and fucking, try and get a WBA shot. Like, Manuel Charr's waiting to be cashed out.
Yeah.
So, there's routes back for Wilder, but I don't think Tyson Fury right away is the right idea, personally.
Well, not to mention, my priority is I want, as always, I want fucking undisputed. I want Joshua versus Fury, and then let Wilder build himself back up, and whoever else is going to start making their way up, right? And then we can start eliminating people, and whoever wins out of Fury versus Joshua can fight whoever the next top guy coming up is.
I still want to see Wilder White, to be honest with you.
I do, yeah. That's. I mean, I got laughed at, but I was saying, heck, even as an undercard fight, if you could double bill that, you could put him versus White and then AJ Fury. Could you not? Wouldn't that be huge over there?
It'd be massive, yeah. Now, Dillion's going to fucking trash that guy. If that fight got made, he's going to smell blood, man. That'd be amazing if that's what happened.
Dude, I just pulled up Wilder's box rec, right? It's the same picture they have. But after a couple nights ago, now the picture, it looks like it's a different emotion. Like a week ago, you look at this picture and it's like stoic intimidation. And now you look at the same exact picture and it's just like a sad little boy. Go take a look at it, man, because I pulled the shit up because I want to see. Let's see. This is Wilder's next 5 fights. You ready? He's going to get beat in the Bermain-Stavern trilogy. He's going to lose in the Ortiz trilogy.
No.
Spielka's coming back to get one on him. Malik Scott is going to get one on him.
Malik Scott.
Damon McCreary is going to get one on him. Kelvin Price. We're going all the way down to motherfucking Ethan Cox and Shannon Gray.
In seriousness, though, you know, that's kind of part of the reason they need to build him back. Let him splatter Charles Martin. Let him get, so get his mojo back, so to speak, and let people's perception of him sort of recalibrate.
The PBC are not worried about his career maintenance right now. They're more concerned about not letting Top Rank or DAZN have an undisputed champion.
Well, and this goes back to kind of what my earlier point means, that for whatever reason, Al just doesn't either seem to care or understand as well when it comes to the heavyweight division.
Al Heyman just don't give a shit.
But the heavyweight division in particular, I mean,
he doesn't understand boxing. Full stop. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't give a fuck about boxing. He really doesn't. He don't give a shit about it.
Like
well, he got into it. He got into it because he didn't get into it for love of it. He got into it because he watched his brother get punched up by Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, Deontay right now to Al Heyman, yeah. Worst case scenario, he can cash him out one more time against Fury. And like Pete said, like if Wilder somehow wins, he's got the belt back. You know, it's worth a gamble on Al Heyman's point of view. He ain't going to spend time and money rebuilding this guy. It's either, it's going to cash him out. He's going to cash him out and try and get that belt back.
See, I kind of feel like he that's wasteful because I mean, to me, long term, he could still make money with him. He's still an attraction.
Of course, he is. Yeah,
there's still fights where he could make plenty of money. If he fought Dillian White over in the UK, that's a ton of money. It may not be.
Get in there with Chisora.
Chisora, yeah, would you tell me? Would that be big over there? Of
course, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it'd be big. It'd be big.
Yeah, so I mean, there's plenty of fights where Al can make plenty of money off of him. So I just think maybe it is boxing in general, but for whatever reason, the way he's handled his heavyweights to me is stuck out as like, whoa, what are you doing, Al? You don't, because he just misses the boat.
It's not just heavyweights though. It's like fucking look at Leo Santa Cruz, Gary Russell, and all of these guys. Man. All of these guys, like Gary Russell.
Russell. He fights like once every 2 years. It seems like
it's madness. It's absolute madness. Look at what he did at super welterweight. We should have been and had a unification fight, undisputed fight at super lightweight. Sorry, super welterweight. Sorry.
Okay, but here's the counterpoint to that. At super welterweight, on the other hand, we have to concede he has given us a lot of really good fights.
Yeah, true. But
I agree with your point about unifications and whatnot, but in terms of just the fights, we've gotten a lot of really good super welterweight fights.
Yeah, it's true, but like Jarrett Hurd.
Yeah.
And welterweight, as much as I'm a huge Crawford fan, so I'm very, very upset that he hasn't got to fight any of those guys. But we've gotten quite a few really good welterweight fights. He doesn't seem to miss as many tricks in those divisions, I guess would be the way I'd put it. But
he can't at super welterweight. It's like because he's got all the guys, but it's still like a case study of his fucking failures. Like we should have had like a 3-belt unification fight at super welterweight between Jamel and Jarrett Hurd. Then Jarrett Hurd got his ass beat. Then Jamel lost, and we're still not fucking any closer. Like this fight should have been.
If he can't, so okay. So would it be fair to characterize it as if he can't keep it in house, he don't care?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because like you said, that's a good point. He can kind of get away with it at welterweight and super welterweight because he's got so many good fighters that he can, even if it's not the fight we want to see, there's still really good fights. J-Rock and Hurd and Lara, so on and so forth. The Charlo Harrison fights were both good in my opinion.
Yeah, they were, but like,
But he don't have the same kind of bodies at heavyweight. But
No.
even then, I mean, why hasn't Wilder fought Kawanaki? You know, in saying that,
Cow Nacky.
exactly.
and Ruiz, for that matter, he should fight Ruiz. Speaking of guys that would be, good rebuild fights.
Yeah, I just hope this whole Wilder Fury thing doesn't make like the PBC double down on what they're doing right now and be even more safe with their matchmaking.
Yeah.
More in how, well, because look, how much did we complain back in the day about HBO keeping everything in house, for example?
Yeah, like Barbaram with like Bradley, Pacquiao, Marquez, and that, and Frank,
it gets tiresome.
100%, 100%. It's frustrating. I was looking at Terence Crawford at the end of that Wilder Fury fight. I think he knew, man, like he ain't gonna get that Errol Spence fight now. He ain't gonna get that fight. Do you know what I mean? Like he knows that's
But
safe.
you know what though? Here's I'm just playing devil's advocate here, Del. What the devil's advocate position might be, Al might calculate it this way. He might calculate it as, well, at this point, Errol's damaged goods after the car crash, and maybe he's more willing to let him come over across the street, so to speak, as a result.
Yeah, maybe. I'll tell you what, but Errol Spence, I was so high on that guy. That guy's, I'm going to say it now, that guy's going to go down as one of my biggest disappointments in boxing. Did you see the state of the guy at the Fury fight? Like bloated.
Oh, I didn't even see him. Maybe I didn't recognize him.
He looked a mess, man.
Yeah. See, and this is the shame of it. I'll say when, because I'm going to stand where I've got to stand by my word. I've said all along. I think Crawford schools him. When Crawford whoops him, there's the built-in excuse. He's damaged goods, and it might be true. He might be. You know what I mean? He might not be the same. He might not have the same physicality anymore.
Yeah,
Stick a fork in him. Stick a fork in him.
You reckon he's physically done beats after that?
Stick a fork in him.
And what about the mental side? Even if he comes back physically, the mental side, that the brushes with death or the brushes with death.
Look,
brush with death.
If he was serious, right, before the car crash, he would have fought Spence. Them guys ain't serious. He was done from there, even before the car crash. He was done for like them boxers, man. Like back in the day, you got a belt, the other guy got a belt, and you think you're that good, you're gonna be a Hall of Famer and a great. You take the fight. It's as simple as that. I don't care about no side of the street.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you finished before that, man.
Oh yeah. Well, think how vicious would history, how on merciless, I should say, would history have been if Hearns and Leonard hadn't fought? Right, it would be a subject we talk about all the time, would it not?
Yeah, we wouldn't be talking about them, man. We wouldn't be doing like.
Well, we wouldn't be talking nice about them. We'd be talking about how they didn't fight when they should have.
Yo, where's it? By the way, real quick, where's this Errol Spence bloated picture? I want to see it.
Just look at his interviews after the Fury Wilder fight. I thought he looked like a right
the interview.
straight.
Look, I was looking on Google Image.
Yeah.
All right,
And as it was,
okay.
As it was, Beats. This is the way I remember it. The way I remember it, as it was, people were pissed off how long the rematch took to occur. Because the rematch didn't happen. That didn't happen for what? 5 years, it seemed like?
What, Hagler and Leonard and
Hearns.
And Hearns?
Yeah,
No,
the rematch took forever.
It was near to 1990, maybe 89 or something.
So almost 10 years later, you're looking at. So yeah, people were pissed off about that. They were pissed off that the rematch didn't occur in a timely fashion.
Yeah. But the first fight was a classic anyway, though.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's arguably for me anyways. That's a Mount Rushmore fight. If I have to pick 4 fights, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or
great.
4 fights I have to take on an island with me. That's probably one of the ones I'm grabbing.
Hearns was ahead, then Leonard started weakening him up with them body shots.
Now you want to we talk about the difference in the way the mentality about stoppages has changed. Beats. If you go back and listen to the commentary for that, right? Ferdy Pacheco and Don Dunphy are both completely aghast at the fact that they stopped the fight. that when Davy Pearl stops it, if I remember right, Don Dunphy literally goes, "Oh no!"
I didn't have that version. I had Reg Guttridge. I mean,
Okay.
I had the British version. I had the Reg Guttridge.
How'd they take it over there? How was it? How was it characterized?
Davy Pearl stopped the fight. It was a good stoppage. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, see, the American commentary wasn't having it. Beats Freddie Pacheco and Don Dunphy were all over Davy Pearl for stuff.
That was ABC, yeah. That was ABC or NBC. NBC.
It might have been early Showtime. I'm not sure.
It could have been.
Because it was It was one of the first pay-per-views.
Fight Doctor traveled around, didn't he? The Fight Doctor traveled around on a few, didn't he?
Oh yeah. He did a lot of commentary on a lot of classic fights.
Yeah.
C188 in the chat. Yeah, Spence. Yeah, he sounded terrible on his Snapchat. Didn't even sound like him. Like that guy wasn't
properly.
Yeah. He's got replacement teeth.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. That guy.
Progress the other progress or something. He like what's the man like? Damn, son. I mean, he's messed up. He's messed
up. That
guy,
I kid you not, that guy doesn't just drink. He's on fucking lean and all sorts. Yes. He doesn't just drink.
Yes.
Who's that now? Progress?
Weed. Everything. Yeah.
Progress sipping lean?
No, Spence.
No, Spence.
Spence. Yeah.
Oh, that makes even more sense. Spence from Texas. That's where that shit originated, baby.
Yeah, Errol's fucked up, man. On the come up, I was so convinced by that kid. On the come, when he was chasing Kell Brook, like Kell Brook didn't want it. Let's be honest. Spence was chasing. Fought in the UK, great look. At that point, I was fucking sold, but yeah, just another disappointment.
Spence before the accident was arguably, you could make the argument, right? I'm not saying again. I'd have to think about it before, if you wanted to hold my feet to the fire, but you could easily make the argument. Before the accident, he was our best welterweight, right?
Yeah.
And becoming one of the bigger names, granted it was, it was kind of cynical, but hey, the putting him against Mikey in Dallas, right? In Texas, Hispanic fan base and all that was a good play in terms of bringing more attention to him and all that. He didn't even medal, Del.
Yeah.
He didn't even sniff a medal. This guy would have been an afterthought in the 80s. He would have been an afterthought.
Sean Porter is a better fighter than Errol. I know he beat him, but Sean Porter is a better fighter.
Well, what do you mean exactly, Beats? Elaborate.
He's fought Danny Garcia. He's fought Errol Spence. He's fought Kell Brook. Right? He's still got
better resume. Way better resume.
Yeah. Sean Porter's a better welterweight. Like Errol Spence don't want it. He might have more talent. He might be bigger, but Sean Porter is training regular. He's always ready to fight. He's the better fighter.
He's more accomplished. Would it be fair to say more accomplished?
He's a better fighter. He's a better fighter than Errol Spence.
I mean, I know people who would argue that Sean Porter should, if he was an A-side fighter, would be unbeaten right now.
Could make the argument. I hear that.
Yeah, imagine if Errol Spence had Sean Porter's dedication. He'd be a hell of a fucking fighter.
Of course he would. Yeah.
Hell of
Everybody
a fighter.
would be.
I was gonna say, yeah. He's if anybody's got anywhere close to Floyd's type of work ethic, it'd be Porter.
Yeah, now that you mention it always winds me up when people fucking cuss that guy out, Sean Porter. Say he's like a swarmer. Like people call him a fucking bum. Like.
Football player. They call him American
football player. Like,
but those are fair criticisms, but you can't knock his work ethic. And you can't knock, to Beats' point, you can't knock his desire to fight the best.
I think he's a better fighter than most people give him credit for as well. He's got a hell of a jab.
He's damn good. Just because he's, just because he uses football footwork doesn't mean he's bad. It just, he's unorthodox. It makes him unorthodox. If anything, a lot of classical boxers, he doesn't do the expected thing, if you get me.
Yeah, his jab is excellent.
I mean, Keith Thurman beat him. What's Keith Thurman doing now? Nothing.
Dude, Keith Thurman's done. He's stick a fork in. I've been saying that since he got married.
Yeah, he got pussy whipped. He's done.
Domesticated. You're domesticated, Rock.
Keith Thurman's too busy playing pan flutes and out fighting monks in the Himalayas, man. That's what Keith Thurman's doing.
Yeah, if he fights again, it's going to be for the money.
We haven't seen Errol Spence fight Keith Thurman. Terrence Crawford. There's so many fights Errol Spence hasn't fought. He's done. That guy's done.
Well, and like I said, and like I was saying, he's damaged goods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until he proves otherwise, anyways, at the very least.
Go take some fights, man. You know what I mean? Like, so as far as that car crash finished him, even before that, he lost all that his ambition. You know what I mean? When he fought Mikey Garcia and couldn't get him out of there, and then nah, he's done. He's done, man. He's done. Tell me when you. All right, okay, it's 2020. Can you see a year in the next 4 years where Errol Spence has a year where he fights Terrence Crawford and let's say a Sean Porter rematch or two really difficult fights in a year? Can you see?
I could see it only from the perspective of, hey, hear me out. I could. It wouldn't shock me if, like I said earlier, it wouldn't shock me if Al's math on it is he decides to cash him out. If Al decides to cash him out, you know what I'm saying? Then he might be more willing to let the Crawford fight happen now because he might be looking at him as, cash out.
When you've got debts and you're broke and you've got no market value, it's easy to take hard fights. It's when you're in your prime.
Well, isn't Spence 30 years old now already?
Yeah, he's old, man. He's old. He's broke up, like Dill said. He's bloated up. He doesn't want it. He don't want it. He doesn't want it. He knows he's not capable of going all the way as well.
Yeah, like I said, even because there's the psychology of it. Even if physically he makes a recovery, he's still got to mentally believe that he's physically the same, and that's until he gets in the ring and does it. To Dell's point, and beats somebody and gets through it. You know what I mean, and it comes to the conclusion. Okay, I can for sure take the punches still. That kind of thing. Until that happens, he's going to have doubts. It's inevitable.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not convinced about Errol Spence. We'll see what he looks like. When he comes back,
you can't be convinced until you see it.
Yeah, making weight. By the way, making that weight again as well. He's been on fucking hospital for he's not fought in a minute.
Yeah,
making that weight's going to be a challenge now.
That was one of my first thoughts because he was already kind of. I was always surprised he's able to do the IBF 10-pound rehydration thing. I was always surprised that he was able to handle that. I mean, after this, he might
160 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
No, that's fair. That's very fair.
Is that how big he looks? Really?
He looks bloated. Yeah.
Bro, I'll be honest with you. I genuinely thought Errol was about 188, 189 last time I seen him.
Yeah, it's like that guy was never out of shape on the come up. Like he just got a bit of money and he's going to eat himself out of welterweight and that he's going to be done. Same thing happened to Broner.
154. He's gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, like Broner at 135. Got some hype, got a bit of money, jumped up 2 weight classes. Basically, he ate himself out of lightweight and career done. Basically,
he had no business at welterweight. When he fought Maidana, he wasn't even 147. He was like 145, I want to say, or 144, right?
Spence should go to 154, man.
When Broner was and he was he was like you said, he was eating himself out of a division already. You get me? And now he's like to the point where he probably struggles to make 147.
Yeah, it's like Tank Davis. I mean, first fight at lightweight, that guy nearly fucks up for weight. I mean,
yeah,
that guy, man, he's got talent, he's explosive, blah blah blah. Yeah, cool, but he ain't got the discipline. He's going to be another fuck up. It's painfully obvious.
He can't fight. There's no way he can. If he tries to fight Josh Taylor at 140, like you said, he's done. This is his last weight class. If he doesn't get disciplined in, he's done.
Yep.
140 is too big for him. 140 is too big for him.
I'm going to fight Josh Taylor. I don't think so.
Nah, he's going to get beat up by Josh Taylor.
I'm sorry. This is Tank who said he's going to fight Josh Taylor, right?
Yeah, Tank, yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. And then I remember him fighting against a featherweight who fought as a flyweight about 135, and the dude had a ruptured Achilles for 9 rounds, and it took him until the 12th round to get him out of there. And this is a dude who'd been dropped 14 times in his career going into it.
Yeah, Tank's got worse.
Good luck against 742-foot tall Josh Taylor.
Yeah, man, Tank's got. He's just another guy on that side of on the PBC who's just stagnated.
All he does is run his mouth on Twitter and fight bums. He runs his mouth on A-side fighters and fights. Right on Twitter, he fights on Twitter. He's the A-side champion. In the ring, he fights pure bums.
This is another example. He's a guy that Al needs to be held to account for because. What is Al doing? What is he doing?
Yeah, because Vao's in a great position. Vao's in a great position with Tank. Like 2017, he gets that Pedraza shot, looks like $1 million, smashes him up. Great performance, defends his title in the UK against Amando. Not a great fighter in Liam Walsh, but does the job away from home. He had momentum, but never capitalized. Whereas the unification fights against Birchelt, Farmer, like why? It's frustrating.
Ever since that Fonseca fight, that's where it started.
Yeah, the Fonseca fight. Yeah, that was a weird. He looked so. I don't know, man. He looked spaced out, like he was on some kind of fucking doped out of his mind. I don't know, man. He was
struggling with Fonseca for a bit as well.
Yeah, struggled with him, and then speaking of rabbit punches, that if I remember, wasn't it a controversy about that? He ended him with a rabbit punch. Or something like that. I'd have to go watch the fight again, but the ending. I remember the ending being a bit daunting.
And again, though, Tank's got the fights. Tank versus Ryan Garcia right now. That's a big fight.
Huge
Ryan's
fight.
got some hype. Golden Boy seem to want to make it, whether you believe him or not. I mean, why not? Fucking just go for it. If Tank beats Ryan Garcia, who's a social media star, that's a massive fucking win.
Yep.
It's a massive win.
How are we gonna get them egos like Leonard Ellaby and Oscar De La Hoya to I just not a fan. It's terrible.
Like, there's so many fights we're not seeing, man. Like Devin Haney, you can chuck him in there with Devin Haney. Like all these fights at lightweight for Tank, great fights. Like American versus American, massive business. Like all of these guys are young. They've got decent social media profiles, especially Ryan Garcia. Like I say,
and technically speak, on paper, Tank can lose that fight and come again. He's still young enough.
He's 25, exactly.
Yeah.
He's 25, man. I mean, none of these guys have it. I don't know, man. Like, it's just I don't know. I don't know.
That's the other thing. Like, I'll go back to the Hearns Leonard thing. It's not like Hearns disappeared off the face of the earth after Leonard beat him. He went on to be. He was a star. He was, a huge attraction over here even afterwards.
Do you think it is a PBC culture thing? I think it is. I mean,
it's an Al Heyman thing.
Yeah, look at Pacquiao. Pacquiao's a perfect example because he's gone to PBC. He's fought Furman. No questions about it. A 41-year-old Manny Pacquiao has the best resume at PBC. Like he's got the best single win out of all these current guys at PBC. That's embarrassing.
Of course it is.
It's absolutely embarrassing.
The second best is actually Furman because he had the wins over Danny Garcia and Porter.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, but like Pacquiao still has that ambition. He's still got that fighter's desire.
That's the difference, and I thought that's what made the difference in the Thurman fight. Is Thurman's domesticated. Pacquiao is still, like you said, got that ambition.
Is that I actually picked Thurman to win. I felt so.
Me too. Well,
I felt I'm going to give myself. I don't know shit about. I should never have picked him.
But beats all boxing logic in the world. All boxing logic in the world, right? Told us from experience. Manny had no business winning.
I think the draw. I get the predictions wrong, and most times I say, okay, I couldn't foresee it. That one there, I was kicking myself. I said, what a fucking idiot I am. How did I pick this guy here over Packett?
Yeah, especially because you and I, we called Thurman versus Josecito. And you
nearly got knocked out. Yeah,
he nearly got knocked out.
And you were ripping him apart. And then when you said, he's going to be Pacquiao, I'm like, wait, hold up. Do you even remember watching the Josecito fight?
Man.
Yep.
It's just this culture at the PBC. Like, they're mollycoddled. They're spoiled. None of these guys have ambition, apart from Porter, Pacquiao. Who else? Julian Williams. I'll give Julian Williams credit. I'm struggling, though. I mean, it's
I'll give Tony Harrison credit.
Yeah,
Jarrett Hurd fights some decent fights. I'll give
He's
you.
got
does.
quite a few good fights, yeah.
Yeah,
And I'll
Jarrett,
give Arizlandi Lara credit too.
Yeah, he fights.
yeah, Lara.
Actually, most guys at that 154 division, they tend to really do fight a lot of good guys. They really do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think someone made the point that it's part of it is the difference with 154 and welterweight to a lesser extent is he's got way more bodies than he does, say, with. Although, I don't. The more I think about it, he's got quite a few decent heavyweights.
Well, he's got Wilder, Kovnatsky, Ruiz.
Like
and
the
those
people
are
talking about
top
Ortiz and Ruiz is a good fight. Luis Ortiz, listen, I'll watch it, but I don't think it's this. Oh yeah, I want to see that. I'm like, okay,
It's a good top 10 heavyweight fight.
it's
in my
not
opinion.
like Charles Martin and the other guy he fought on Saturday, Washington.
Oh, it's a better fight than those two. Come on, man. That's a way better fight than George and Charles Martin.
Yo, hold on, Doc. Charles Martin is a Jedi, and he is currently on a mission to circumcise the heavyweight division with his lightsaber. His quote, not mine. He said this himself.
That guy's hype is fucking peanut. Charles Martin.
Charles Martin is easily. Look, shout out to my man Low Place wherever he is. I fuck with the Waif God, okay? I fuck with the Waif God heavy. Charles Martin is like a WWE character. He's a fucking phenom.
Charles Martin.
Now, if you actually take like Charles Martin and take his boxing aside and like whatever and capitulation against Joshua and whatever, and you take that out, right? And you just take all of his quotes and everything. Tell me he is not hella entertaining.
Oh yeah, she's amusing. But in terms of a fight, I mean, I don't even think Ruiz versus Ortiz should be a title eliminator. But to me,
No.
it's way more worthy than Washington and Charles Martin was.
Well, I know it's a title eliminator, but it's not a final eliminator, and that's the important thing.
Oh, okay. See, they always play that semantics, don't they? So they can hedge their bets.
It's an eliminator. Anything where the two fighters.
Well,
are
okay.
the top
Yeah, by the way,
15
by the way,
eliminator.
who have you guys got in Ruiz Ortiz out of interest?
I have no idea who wins that fight. Ortiz is he's starting to. I mean, as much as I'm a big fan of Ortiz.
Ortiz is shot.
He's coming off a really bad knockout, and he's 40-something years old.
Well, look, let me say this, yeah.
But then again, real quick before you go, the other thing, the other unknown that makes is you don't know what you're going to get from Ruiz either. He might show up 400 fucking pounds.
Still whoop up on that out.
Yeah, it depends on Ortiz's punch resistance. What's left?
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things you kind of can't call it till you see how he reacts to the punches.
Yeah, Ortiz definitely can't knock Ruiz out, so it's a case of whether Ortiz can box him for 12. I don't think he's got the engine for it, even against a fat fuck like Ruiz, to be honest.
And end of the day, Luis Ortiz, he got knocked out by a bum slayer who got knocked out by a feather-fisted cokehead.
Rifles.
I'm just using their words.
I know. No, I know. I like Fury's comment about what was he saying about I can't knock anybody out with these feather dusters after the fight.
Yeah,
He was being sarcastic. It was pretty funny.
yo, man, that dude's 270 pounds and he sits on his punches. He's gonna hurt you.
Yeah,
It's not Paulie Malignaggi versus Sam Eggington wailing on him and Eggington looking at him like he's. That's one of my favorite clips in boxing. I'll send that to you. Give you a timestamp later, Doc. I'll send it to you on Hangouts. You should have a look at it. You'll love that.
All right. If I'll say this, if Ruiz, as much as I like Ortiz, if Ruiz shows up in the shape he did, like for the Joshua fight, he really should win. But then again, this goes back to not to compare Ortiz to Pacquiao, but just in terms of the ages, 40-something. That's boxing logic. You never know until the night. But boxing logic says Ruiz should be the favorite, assuming he don't show up like the Blob. If he shows up like the Blob, he probably gets a boxing lesson.
Yeah, I'll watch it. It's like a loser leaves town fight, I guess. between the fat dude and the fucking Jerry.
To me that's a high quality top 10 heavyweight fight. And that's more of an eliminator than friggin' Washington versus Charles Martin.
Split decision. It's got split decision written all over it.
Could well, yeah.
I actually reckon that'll be a shit fight. Like low output, kind of dull. I think it'll be a shit fight. But
who's that?
Ortiz and Ruiz. Can't see either guy forcing the pace. Ruiz is going to be plodding. Ortiz is going to be prodding and probing.
It depends. It depends on how. It depends on. I think a lot of that depends on Ruiz. If he shows up 400 pounds, then yeah, because Ortiz is just going to outpoint him, or try to fight to outpoint him, and Ruiz is not going to be able to close down the distance. But if Ruiz is able to kind of consistently bring the food to Ortiz, I think it could be really interesting. The exchanges should be good.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'd much rather see it's a solid fight. I'd watch it, but
I'd like to see Luis Ortiz versus Kubrat Pulev or Povetkin in a battle of the shot.
Yeah,
old man fight, the old man circuit.
I like old man fights, man. I love them. In a perfect world, I'd get Sam Peters versus Oliver McCall, but I'm not getting it.
Jesus Christ!
That's like the senior citizen circuit there, bro.
So Shannon Briggs in there as well.
Oliver McCall fought the other week, didn't he? A few weeks ago.
What the fuck is he doing fighting still?
Low key, Oliver McCall still has the best chin at heavyweight.
53 years old.
I remember somebody mentioned that. Isn't it the case that he's never been knocked out?
Never been knocked down.
Never been knocked down.
He's been stopped. Oh. Don't forget when he had a nervous breakdown.
Well, yeah, he quit. He quit more than I think got stopped, though. I mean, he was crying in the ring.
Nah, bro, you start crying, you've been stopped.
He was, but he was. You could see he was not. You could see he wasn't right coming to the ring.
He was crying, man. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. I can't believe it. Yeah, he's still fighting, though. 53 years old. It's insane. I mean,
best China heavyweight currently?
I don't know. Who has got the best chin? Probably Parker, Ruiz.
Nah, not as good as Oliver McCall, mate.
Yeah, but McCall now. I'm talking about current,
Yeah, I reckon Oliver McCall could take a full punch from Wilder and keep coming.
Jesus Christ!
I reckon you're trying to give man brain damage over here, Unrivaled. Come on.
Yo, don't you talk about fucking brain damage, Mr. Joe Mullender.
Liam Williams knocked out.
Yeah. All you need to do is say the name and Doc breaks out.
As obscure as a fighter he is, if you name that name, I remember.
Knockout is one of the best.
Yo, speaking of fucked up fights and whatnot, guy who fought Dadashev, Matthias, he lost on the undercard.
Yeah, Subriel Matthias lost to Anian. Yeah, Anian said afterwards he was there. He was there to fight for his countrymen.
He might not have mentally recovered from what happened to Dadashev.
Yeah, he didn't look right. It was actually a really good fight, though. It was a good fight, but he didn't look right. The same intensity weren't there.
Best 10-rounder of the year by far.
Sometimes they lose the killer instinct, Beats.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he got dropped in that fight as well.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's a good fight. It's a 10-rounder.
I felt the same way about Vojtik, Del, you remember me calling before Beterbiev. I felt the Stevenson thing may have affected him because when he fought, what's his name, Ndubu or whatever, he was pulling on more of his shots and he wasn't going at him as aggressively as normal. He was just trying to box him. And when he fought against Beterbiev, he didn't put everything on those shots, man, like Vojtik. And I felt as though he was mentally checked out. That's why I really picked Beterbiev, and I was confident in picking Beterbiev for the stoppage.
Yeah, they reckon though when that happens to a fighter, it's not necessarily because they're scared of doing it again. They're scared of that happening to them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of both. I think it probably varies from fighter to fighter, but it's going to be a bit of both for sure. Those are both going to play on your mind.
Can I do a brief little spotlight on the hypocrite of the weekend?
Oh.
Shout out to Teddy Atlas for saying we know that we know the reason why Wilder lost is because he can't fight. Yeah, he picked Wilder to win. Shout out to Teddy Atlas.
Yeah, Teddy's full of it. Teddy's great entertainment, but he's full of it. He's full of it.
He started talking about Tyson Fury's. He mentioned beforehand, before he picked Wilder, he said Tyson Fury with all his mental health problems. He kind of took a few shots at him for mental health issues. Teddy, isn't the whole point of you as a trainer, to like you specifically, aren't you just a motivational speaker for the most part? Aren't you the guy to help people through their mental health issues?
Psychologist. You gotta be part psychologist.
Teddy Atlas is part. He's part egotist, part fucking rock.
Oh no, I'm just saying a trainer in general. It's part of the kind of a little bit of the job description is being like that now Customato was a master psychologist. Teddy probably not so much. Well, Teddy, the one thing the headline or the video title I saw was Teddy thought the weight he was going to be a fat 173. Basically, was my takeaway from it.
Teddy said that he mentally looked lost, Fury. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I'll go watch it again. I took it as he thought he was basing that off of the weight. Basically, he thought he couldn't understand the weight. But I had questions about it too because I didn't see him at the weigh-in, so I was kind of wondering. I was waiting to see what he looked like in the ring because I was, if it was a strong 173, then I thought it was going to be good for him.
I was a little worried, but I didn't change my pick. But I was a little worried when I.
Well, did you see the weigh-in? You watched the weigh-in though, probably, right, Beats?
Yeah, I watched the weigh-in.
Did he look?
Wait, what was it? Because he said he was. I was kind of worried, but he said he was going to come in at that weight, so I was kind of in between.
That's yeah. It was a question of whether it was going to be a fat 170 or a strong 170, and he was a strong 170.
But he never looks in shape to me.
Yeah, that's true too. That's
how his body is shaped. He's in shape.
I thought he looked more in shape. I thought he looked at 173. I thought he looked stronger and more in shape though than he did in the first fight.
Like aesthetically, he's got an awful physique. Let's keep it real, but that don't mean shit. He could fight.
Yeah. Yep.
Yo, I'm just looking at this Wilder Fury card, just going through the results. I never knew Amir Imam before. He lost.
Oh, he did?
Amir Imam lost, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he's a gatekeeper now, man.
Do you remember when people called that guy the next James Toney?
Yes, I remember them.
Whoa.
Oh, you didn't hear that though?
I missed that one. I remember Amir Imam having some hype, but the next James Toney.
Oh yeah, bro. They actually were calling them the next James Toney. It was nearly as funny to me as when people were calling David Price greater than Tyson.
Oh, that's wow. Whoever said that needs to be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
What's one of the funniest ones you've ever heard? For me, it was Paulie Malignaggi is going to be the Italian Ray Robinson. I think that was the funniest one I ever heard.
Wow.
Amir Imam had a massive fringe fan base who thought he was the second coming. I'm telling you.
Yeah, because at that time he was he mandatory for Garcia? Danny Garcia.
Yeah. That it was the two Granadas bust the bubble, yeah?
Yeah, that was it, because he was Mando, then he lost.
He did have good wins, though. In retrospect, if you look at it, he got a decision win over Ugas,
Oh, he has?
Yeah.
Wait, who does Imam?
Imam beat Ugas in 2014.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Imam that loss.
Man, he was mandatory for Danny at 140, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was
on a good run, man. He was beating Santos Benavides, Fidel Maldonado, Walter Castillo, Ugas. He took the L of Jared Robinson, who was a very good prospect.
Granadas just ran over him that day, man.
That was a beating.
Yeah, it was scary. It was kind of
that wasn't scary. It was a thing of beauty. I'm with Doc on. I've turned into a mini Doc. The more brutal it is, the more close to death the fighter is, the more happy I become.
Christ.
No, I'm just talking. I don't mean scary, but just the way he took that beating, man. It was like, that
was a British stoppage.
He was a massive favorite, and the beating he took. And
Yeah, it was
that was the kind of beating that takes something out of you, Beats. I mean, or could, anyways.
Yeah,
that was a British stoppage.
Yeah, that was a stay busy fight apparently, and yeah, look what happened.
They should have let that go on, man. That was a British stoppage.
Unrival's not going to let that. Not going to let the Liam thing go.
Happens.
I personally think with Liam Williams and John Mullender, when Mullender was on the canvas and they were bringing out the oxygen mask, I personally think the referee should have said, "Carry on."
You guys know the history. Who is that Mexican dude who was supposed to fight Foreman, like the Hispanic dude, and he got knocked out? The guy who was going to get paid, wasn't he?
Alex Garcia.
Alex Garcia.
By Mike, I know the story. He got knocked out by Mike Dixon, the journeyman, Ray Mercer, and Lennox Lewis, and others were beating the shit out of. And he got hit with that right hand on the top of his temple, and he staggered back into the ropes and took the beating. See ya. I mean, he was offered $1 million, and it don't sound a lot now, but in the 90s, for just a regular contender to get $1 million against Foreman, it's big money. Yeah, that's life-changing money. Early 90s, life-changing.
Is that when he ended up fighting? What was it, Adelson Rodriguez instead?
Yeah, I probably was. Yeah. They offered him $1 million. Yeah. Alex Scott,
man.
Mexican. Yeah. He was all tatted up. I think he used to be a gangbanger or something.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, he fucked up. Mike Dixon, if you go look at Mike Dixon had so much else on his record.
If it's the guy I'm thinking of, he was a football player turned boxer. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, but fucking what's his name? Vivian Harris did the same thing, didn't he? When he got knocked out by Carlos Mouser, yeah.
300,000 for the Ricky Hatton fight. No, I'm not taking it, man. I'm worth more than that. He earned about less than 30,000 to fight Mouser. And I remember Emmanuel Stewart was doing his nut in the corner. God damn, what are you doing?
Did you see similarities, by the way, between Sugar Hill in the corner and Manny Stewart? I did.
Manny Stewart made me laugh, man. He couldn't. What it was, Manny couldn't believe the beating he was taking. I don't think he could understand it.
Yeah, Manny was great, man. I loved it when he was slapping up Vlad. Was it the Chambers fight? That's fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah, Manny was great.
Lennox against Tyson's the one I always remember. Get this guy the fuck out of here before he hits you with some stupid shit.
I tell you what, though, to be honest, when I was watching Vivian, I watched it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing either. To be honest, I said, what are you doing? Because he was just wild. He was just like so uncoordinated in the fight, and he's fighting this amateur who's beating the crap out of him. I was watching. I said, I don't know what's going on here.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Vivian Harris managed by Al Heyman, correct?
I don't know about. It could have been. It could have been.
It'd be another example of that sounds like Al's modus operandi, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like Luis Ortiz, isn't it, with Joshua? It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he turned down 300,000. He never earned nowhere near that in his career.
It's insane, man. Absolutely insane. You got to take the opportunities when they come, man.
Yes, you do.
That seems to be Al's thing. He wants to squeeze every dollar he can out of it. Sometimes to his fighters' detriment, or especially to their legacy's detriment.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Vivian just threw that WBA belt. Was it WBA or WBC? He had threw it away, and that was that. I don't know.
If I'm gonna, the most charitable thing of it would be, or way to say it would be this: because he really did see his brother Bobby Heyman got punched up by Sugar Ray Leonard, and that was the end of his career. And he was, a classic case of a boxer left with nothing. And I think to a fault, Al, if you wanted to be the most charitable, you could say maybe Al, his focus is on making sure that doesn't happen to him, that they'll have some money when their career is over, as opposed to being, and he isn't, to a fault, isn't concerned about their legacy, which fights they do or don't take,
Yeah, I guess I've heard that a lot, but surely if that was the case, Al would have said to Ortiz, take the Joshua fight.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Because he didn't get paid that for the Wilder rematch. What did he get paid? $1 million?
But Al got to keep it all in house.
What, the rematch? You're talking about the rematch?
Yeah, the rematch. Yeah.
They said they had to equal his purse, what he gave up to fight AJ. They said they had to pay him. They said they had to pay him $7. Did he get $7?
I don't know. I have no idea. But I mean, it wouldn't shock me. That seems to be Al's modus operandi. If he can keep it in house, he'll keep it in house.
I doubt
at the expense of his fighter's legacy.
I don't think he got $7. I doubt very much he got $7.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised. He probably got paid something, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because Al I think gets to call the shots. And if he says you're not taking that fight, they're not taking that fight.
Crazy, man.
Well, that goes on in a lot of heck, that goes on in entertainment even. You got, depending on how the contract is structured, managers get to decide what shows you do and which ones you don't, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so official purses for that rematch were Ortiz got 1.5 million official purse. So he might have got more, but I can't see him getting $7 million.
Oh, don't you remember when they said they got separate? They got two amounts of purse. How did they break it down? There was one breakdown for the purse, and then there was another purse that it was like shit, all that shit, smoke, the cloak and dagger shit. So because Wilder got whatever he got, and they said, "Oh yeah, but that's not the whole purse. There's another purse."
Now it wouldn't. I'll tell you this much: it wouldn't surprise me if Al, said what he had to say to convince Ortiz he was going to make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
But if it actually, as for it actually happening, I have my doubts. Like I said, the guy's look at his back. His background is almost as shady as Bob. He's a concert promoter. Those guys are shady as anything.
100%. Yeah, 100%, man. Like I don't know too much about Al Heyman, but I read that he basically got chased out the music industry. I'm not sure how true that is, but
I heard something along those lines too. Yeah. So I mean, look. None of these I've said it for ages. None of these promoters are, plaster saints. They're all shady. You can't trust any of them, man. They're boxing promoters.
Yep, that's very true, man. It's very.
They're not boxing. They didn't decide to become boxing promoters because they're humanitarians.
No, that's true.
That is true. Boxing promoters because they love boxing. They like money.
Yes, exactly, Beats. Exactly. Well, Bob Arum didn't get into it for love of boxing. He saw money on the receipts when he was, doing the case for what was it the rematch between Ali Liston that he was investigating or helping the
TV receipts. That's what it was.
Yeah. I think he's even said it. He's like, oh wow, look at all the money you can make here.
He was working in Kennedy's office, isn't it? Or was it?
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this one up. By the way,
I appreciate it, Del.
Beats, do you want to shout out your channel?
Yeah, man. Boxing Beats and Rhymes. Sub. Just hit 10,000, I think.
Nice.
Oh, right on, man. Right on.
Nice. Yeah, man. Thank you guys for coming on. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thanks
for having me.
Well, no worries, man. Always welcome. Always welcome.
No problem, man.
Thanks to the chat as well for showing out. Smash a like on the way out as well. Be much appreciated. Peace.
Peace.